see how small it was.
Hi.
What's going on, everybody?
We're back.
Hello, folks.
Look, guys, we got Kevin Peon Parsons in studio tonight.
Hey, you know I had to
fucking
make an
Patrick.
appearance every once in a while.
Oh, look, Tony's drinking his anti-American beer.
We are live with
Hey.
Patrick
Blue
from
Light.
This
Burn.
beer knows what gender it is. All right, I'll leave it at that.
I'm just drinking some.
It
Hard
almost
Mountain
looks
Dew.
like it could be confused.
It actually does look like it's confused. Like the
How?
other beer knows what it's doing. That one is confused.
Because if you take the L
Look at this.
and the E together, it still says it'll say Bud
Look
Light.
at that, Labatt Blue Light. It knows what it is. It's a light beer that's tasty, refreshing, and cheap.
That's dangerous for the
You sure
bets.
that's not from Baltimore?
You know what I find?
Blue
Yes.
Light District.
You know what I find the funniest part about that whole situation with Bud Light and this is just because stupid people make me laugh.
Stupid people!
So
He's
everybody
talking about
boycotts Bud Light and starts drinking Modelo, which is also owned by Anheuser-Busch.
Yes.
Hilarious.
My thing is, I wonder how like separated the individual brands are from each other. Like-
Not really.
That's what I assume, but I don't know.
I would imagine that half of those beers are made in the same factory.
So when I
Well,
was-
right, but like, is Modelo have a separate marketing team again? Like, does the Bud Light have a
That's a good
separate
point.
marketing team, or is it all? Just
I'm sure they do because it's such a large company that they're gonna.
Well, I told you when I was down in Georgia for 4th of July,
Miles,
we went
block
to
him.
the.
Block him.
No, dude, that's my tournament partner. So
What's up,
we ain't
Dan?
blocking him.
Well, it's okay. We can block him until.
So we went to the local Walmart, and everybody floats the river down there for 4th of July, and every single river float was empty on the shelf except for the Bud Light ones. There was literally like a whole section of Bud Light river floats.
What's a river float?
It's like a inner tube that's like a little bit thicker, so you can float down the river and bounce off rocks and stuff.
Oh, okay.
So that's like a big thing down there in that part of Georgia.
Yeah.
They float down the river for 4th of July.
I mean, that
There's
makes
like
sense.
an aisle of Walmart, nothing but floats, all
I mean,
of them
that-
empty. Except
That's a
for,
big that's a big thing in Hartford County. too.
We lost camera one, boys.
Oh no.
Which one is that? That's that one over there.
Yeah.
Well, good. They
She
can
got
still
on.
see this wonderful beer.
Apparently, this is the preferred angle, anyways.
It's because I sit here.
I mean,
This one doesn't
may
make
be
me
true.
look so fat. So.
Well,
Honestly, the camera quality on the iPhone is much better than the old ass Android on
what did
the
it
left
just
This,
side.
die? Battery die?
I will say that this angle makes Tony look like he's got titties.
That's kind of cool.
Titties.
Yes.
Kevin's playing with Tony's titties.
Oh, let me do this one.
Keep it PG-13.
So what's new? It's been a while since I've been on. I've had some
been too long.
tournaments, and a couple weeks ago we had the power go out.
Oh yeah. Forgot that.
Trying to think the last time I came on.
It's
a while.
been-
I think
it's
it was
been a
right
while.
after, right
Yeah,
after
it's
the
been a while.
solstice, I think. That was like literally right after the solstice.
Yeah, because it was the we had neck brace cam.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
right.
we had
I was
neck
still,
brace
I was
cam.
still in my
And
neck
then-
brace.
And then shithead ate your neck brace.
Yeah, and that dog ate it.
So Miles, since you're the only one watching right now, why don't you go ahead and hit that share button for us, buddy? Thank you.
Much appreciated.
And I will say that if you go back and watch some earlier episodes, you will see that Hazy Little Thing is my go-to IPA.
Yeah, the hazies were definitely what you had when we were
Almost.
first in the show.
The Hazy Little Thing was that's one of my favorite.
The
beers.
beers have changed a lot throughout the amount of
I
time
went
that
lighter.
they've been.
Just because when I drink like 3 or 4 IPAs, I get kind of fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
And I can drink Coronas like water.
I do think the first thing that we need to say is congratulations to Paul for winning the tournament and Lunker last night.
Thank
Yes.
So good job.
Congratulations, Paul! You did it.
You finally beat me on a Thursday nighter this
You
year.
freaking did it.
All that
It's been a-
shit you talked last year about not, I just had to rub
It's
it
been
in.
you have been hammering them.
I wouldn't say hammering. I've just been consistent. I wouldn't
You know
say
what?
hammering.
That's honestly the consistency's the name
Oh,
of the
shit.
game, in my opinion.
What
Just
happened?
saying.
Miles is gonna have some Hazy Little Things on deck for after the tournament.
Here we go.
Damn.
Hell yeah!
Shit, I'm
Poster.
gonna-
That's a co-angler right there.
Don't drink too many of those.
I'm
at
about, I'm about to
Conoway.
come up to that tournament and just follow you all
That's a
around
long
all
drive
day.
home, right?
Yeah. It is a long drive home.
What's up, Brian
There we
Dyson?
go. B-Die.
I'm very excited for
I'd
that
like to give
tournament.
you know what? I want to give
Probably
a
go in like a year.
I want to give a
Fishing
shout out.
Sunday?
I want to give out the
I'd
shout
like
out to
Sure.
Brian and Tom for
I haven't fished Conowingo.
helping a
like,
fellow angler out at the
probably a
ramp
year
this
and a
week.
half.
You know,
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What's
So,
going on with that?
Dave Wilder's trim got stuck down.
Yep.
And Tom and Brian, came up with the idea to get it up because a Mert 250 is freaking heavy.
Hell
and
yeah.
We could not pick that thing up off the ground.
That shit was making me nervous because they were pulling it
Oh,
against.
so what? Here, I'll tell. So what? The idea that
Hey, what's up, Lou?
that Tom came up with is shit. I got a tow strap. We'll tie a tow strap around the lower unit, and we'll tie it off to one of the dock pilings, and just have you pull a trailer forward. So we strapped the boat down, tied a tow strap to the lower unit, put it to the dock piling, slowly pulled the truck up.
Yeah,
Motor
I had the
just
same
goes.
reaction.
So for those that don't know,
Did you let
there's
the bleed screw open?
Yeah.
Okay.
there's a way to open the valves on the
Yes.
Yeah, it's bleed.
so that what he said, a bleed screw, but so nobody just goes and attaches their
Yeah, we
lower
didn't
unit
just,
to
like,
a
try to yank
pylon
it
and
up.
pulls forward. Yeah, there is a bleed screw that you need to
So,
loosen so that
It's actually a pressure relief valve.
There is a relief valve with a relief portion of section inside of your trim that is designed for when you hit something hard enough, your motor will go up and give.
Yeah.
So,
So you can take there's a screw on the side of every motor. You undo the screw, it releases the hydraulic pressure, and you can pick it up and down.
that did.
So we
yeah,
we
it
did
work.
loosen that, hook this thing to a tow strap because it was all the way down.
Right.
And I mean that motor, it's a 650 pound motor.
Definitely all
Four-stroke
of
Merc,
all
ain't
of
no-
550.
Yeah, they're not no joke. So we couldn't get it off the ground to get it up. So the
'cause
tow
Tony wasn't there.
so the tow strap
I
got
was
it up.
there. I
Got
You
it
couldn't
up
get it?
enough.
I
Fine,
didn't. By
being the
the time
SU
I got there, they were done.
The tow strap got it up enough that Tom and Brian could then get under it and pick it up the rest of the way. We could get his motor toter in, and then because we were kind of iffy on the hydraulic system,
Strap it. Yeah.
we took a ratchet strap and just ran it from one tie down to the other across the back of the motor, just for.
That sucks to hear Dave's having issues with it, man. It's a brand new boat.
Yeah, so
Literally.
I talked to him before I came up here, and there's a sensor on the motor, and it's a magnetic sensor, and they've been having issues with the screws backing out.
So it's not.
So when the
just a
screw
relay.
backs out,
Oh, wow.
it moves. So then the sensor's off, and it puts it into a guardian mode and won't let it trim up.
Wow. So it did work, and everyone got home safely. What I would have done, and I got there too late to help. I was pulling in as
What would
guys
you
were
have done?
finishing up.
Because we tried everything.
me and Steve pulled
Here's
in
what I
and
would've done.
we saw what was going on, but honestly there was already like 6 people standing around the boat, and I was
Right.
like, I don't really
So,
think there's enough room for
What
us
I
over
would have
there.
done is taken my spare or a shitty spare and put it in between the boat and the motor, right? Then I would have put my chalk block under it and just pulled it forward. That way, you're not pulling the boat, the lower unit and the motor against the fucking back of the boat. So if you do that, it would
Still
just
doing. I mean, you're still doing the same thing. It's
Well-
still putting the pressure the same way.
no, because when you
it's-
roll over, it's forcing it up.
So the tire's still pushing back against it.
Yeah, but it would be forcing it more up instead of straight back. But again, it's just splitting hairs at that point. Like it worked.
Yeah, I mean
either
it's
way.
not.
I see your point.
I see your
Yes.
point,
Because you're
but
establishing
It's
I don't know the
an
word.
upward.
you're pushing it at an
Yes.
angle instead of
Right.
pulling straight.
at that
back.
point you're putting it on a pendulum where it can
Yeah.
rotate from a center line.
Correct.
Yeah.
And you would have had zero risk of
Damaging
damaging your transom. Not that they did. But
it wasn't going
Right.
to damage the transom. I mean, literally had to pull the trailer forward like a foot and a half for it to raise up.
Forgot to hit the record button because Megan didn't tell me.
Thanks
Megan-
a lot, Megan.
she's not on tonight. She's got stupid things. I don't know.
I'm
We'll talk
recording
about it.
now though.
But I don't know. That's what I would have done. But that is a heavy motor. You could pop a spare doing that, and then it is what it is. Like me personally, if it's a brand new boat, I am not risking messing up that transom. So that's what I would have done.
Hell no.
But I've had to get very creative with getting vehicles off the side of the road in my military career. So
Look
I've
at
done
this.
this a
Look
few
at it this
times.
way.
If
If that little bit of pulling is going to mess up your transom,
Then yes, that's
then
true.
it's screwed anyway.
Then you should have bought a Gambler, which is what I'm getting in some point in time.
the used one,
20 years from now.
brand new.
order
Right,
a brand
brand
new, and you
new
might
one.
get it in 4 years after they done closed up and reopened.
That's right, Brian.
No,
we
they're
got.
making boats right now.
I mean, Brian makes a.
We'll talk about that later.
Brian makes a good point. You
Do
know,
you have juice?
Why can't
do
we
you have-
talk
do you-
about that on
no,
the
I want
air?
to talk about that right now.
So last time I heard, Scotty G had all of his employees quit on him, and there was not a single person on his production line other than himself and his wife.
Okay, as of what date? I'm not saying you're wrong. I
Probably
never
a
heard this.
month and a half ago, maybe.
Son of a biatch.
There's a
That
lo- if
really
you
screws
go-
my plans of buying a brand new gambler.
So if you go on some of the Scream and Fly and Go Fast Bass Boat pages on
Yeah,
Facebook,
I'd definitely be interested to hear.
there's guys like saying how they're demanding their money back because they've been waiting a year and a half for their gamblers,
Right.
and they haven't even started their build yet.
So where is Heath and all this?
sounds like another ballistic.
I don't know.
So did we ever get to the bottom of that?
So Ballistic just built 2 boats recently.
But
and
did
had
we
them
ever get to
listed.
the bottom of the whole Lee Livesey thing?
He was going through the owner was going through a divorce.
And-
He ended up using deposit money to
get married for all you single people out
to pay legal fees. So he had people who put deposits down on a boat
And then
that he didn't have that he couldn't give the money back on. So he essentially gave one of those people Lee Livesey's boat.
Ouch. I'm gonna go get a beer.
There's a
frozen.
refrigerator right behind you.
Yes, but I had some of them in the freezer.
Okay, but can I have one in the refrigerator that's behind you?
Yeah. Kevin's got you. I'm sorry.
Ow, shit! Funny. Oh, God. Funny bone. Shit.
That was funny.
God damn it.
Was that me?
Yes!
My bad.
Oh!
Hey, no swearing.
This way.
Oh, dude, I'm about to get kicked.
Chad,
Oh!
Chad, what do you want? Blue Moon?
Yeah, please. Oh, God.
You're about to get put on timeout.
Oh, dude, I need it for my funny bone right now.
It's not funny.
It's not hilarious.
So
Dude, you turned your
You
chair.
could say
and I,
it's
like,
humorous.
You turned your chair, and I went to go put my arm down and nailed the corner of it right here. I was like, oh!
So my chair just broke.
so yeah,
Hey,
that's
guys, you want to see the leg of my chair?
Is that the whole leg?
Yes.
Okay, well, can you put that back on?
This is the Chad Buckland chair now. Oop.
oh my god,
Oh!
It's okay.
Hold up, I'm tagging him.
did you hear what Rob said to Chad last night?
Yes.
So
He's
Chad's sitting on the bench, rubbing his the
Prosthetic
joint on his
knee.
prosthetic, and Rob just looks at him and goes, "What's the matter? Your knee hurt?"
Oh my god.
So
Nah,
then-
he did
so
not.
So then I told
did,
I told
100%.
I told Darwin I told Darwin like, yeah, he stepped on a landmine in Nam.
Damn it.
I had no idea
He's like
Buckland was younger than
32.
I was though. I was like, you're younger than
33.
me? Yeah, he's 30,
I
33.
think he said you have to put it in the other hole first. You numbskull.
Damn it. I'm not good at that. I like getting what I want first. You know what I mean?
You got to put it in the big hole before you can put it in the little hole.
Yeah, you might need to put
It
a screw
loosens
in
things
that
up.
Might need some wood glue for that old chair.
Brute force
there.
and ignorance. Here we go.
one. You might need
All
a
right.
wood screw for that one.
So yeah, that's the deal with Ballistic. I don't know what's going on in Gambler. I haven't heard
They
anything
just-
about
Yeah, I
Well,
haven't
they-
heard. That's the first I've heard about
He
it.
just unloaded like 1 or 2 223 models. The Ballistic.
it. Yeah.
He unloaded 221 because he put a Mercury vessel view in the passenger console, which I thought was kind of cool
Why did he put it in the passenger console?
to match the one on the driver console, so you could see how fast you were going.
So the
Yeah, like-
rider can see how fast he's
Yeah, it
going.
had like it had a 223 with a 400R on it.
Dude, I'm like really interested. What happened? Oh, he's
Yes.
pointing at.
Like and share, please.
That's what he's pointing at. I thought he was pointing at something else. That okay. Anyway.
So
No, that's microscopic. I would have needed.
so how about
something
the
else.
Maybe.
how about that bass cat with the $500 that I sent her?
I think it's stupid. I
That
hate
is
it.
crazy.
I absolutely hate it.
What is the
you hate
weight?
it so much that you wanted to drive it.
No, I don't want to drive it.
I-
I think it's dumb.
That's
Why
a
would
death
it be
trap.
dumb?
Oh, I wanna
Absolute
drive
death
it.
trap.
That-
Because
I wanna
because
drive
a
That is a-
250
that
on a
is-
bullet goes just almost as fast.
So, but
You're right, but I
that-
still want to drive it and say I drove it.
So,
I
but
mean-
Okay,
that
so
model
that is
hold-
retarded, actually.
that model of Bass Cat is built for fishing the Great Lakes.
that's
That's the Jaguar.
That's the STS.
It's a Jaguar STS. It's a 22-foot boat that's
It's a big
made for
bitch.
bass fishing the Great Lakes. It's made for big water. It's a big, heavy boat.
That is a gunpowder rig, if I have ever heard of one.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. With the $500. Because, I might want to run to the Nana Coke on a Thursday night.
Because you couldn't even plane out in 4 feet of water in that thing, probably.
Oh yeah, you could.
Oh, with a $500?
I bet you that thing's on a plane in a split second.
How much? I wonder how much more like the weight is on the 500 than the 250.
Probably not that much. They're probably
that's what I'm saying.
running the same.
The
block
difference
and everything.
between a 300R
That's a
and
crazy
a 500R
difference, though.
is
if it's on the same
nothing.
block.
It's the same exact motor with more boost going through it. That is the only difference.
Well, a 250 to a 300.
Is it $300 supercharged?
300R supercharged also.
So it's just
between the 300 and the 500.
Yeah.
The 400 and the 500Rs
They're
are the
supercharged.
exact same things, both supercharged. They just have more boost going through the 500.
So it's just different tuning.
But they
same
got
motor.
rid of the 450.
I don't know if they got rid of it. They did the 500R.
No, they still have the. They have the.
They did the
I thought they were
500
discontinuing the 450.
Maybe.
The 500R was just a thing for anniversary because it's like 100 years of Mercury or something like that.
I'll never own one, so I don't care.
I know, dude.
You
I
were
wish
talking
I had.
about
I wish
getting
I had a
Mercury
show,
freaking
dude.
2 months ago. You were all about
No,
the Mercury.
I meant a $500R.
Oh,
like
500.
I don't care about a $500R. Now, you know what? I am after some stuff that Frank's had go on, the stuff that JT's had go on, and the stuff that Dave's had go on. I'm getting a Yamaha.
Thank you. If it's black, send it back. That's what I always say.
Okay.
I mean,
So,
I like.
Dude,
I like those Mercuries.
I think Mercury
and they run
is
really
good,
well.
Dude, I just think Show is just on a different
But-
tier of quality control. In my
I just know too many
It's
people
just-
that have had too many issues. Now I know people who've had issues with shows,
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
you know,
There's plenty of people who have issues with SHOs, but
at least the issues that I've heard with shows, they're like 4 or 5 years old.
yeah.
Okay.
Not brand new with like 10 hours on them.
I can't find
I
any
heard
less than
those, I heard
$100
those
about what you're
300Rs were
talking
blowing the
about.
fuck up.
I can't find any information about what
it's-
you're talking about.
It's a high
I'll
performance.
see if I can find it.
If you please
it's
send it
on
to
one
me.
of the. I'll invite
if
you
you
to.
can.
It's a private page that I'm part of.
When you get into those high
Screen
performance
Fly.
motors like that,
I'm curious
they're
because I
gonna-
actually was serious. Like I no shit was going to call Gambler and schedule a tour of the factory like in the next 6 months.
I'd love to get a Gambler, but after hearing that, I was like,
Well, that's so. Here's my thing, right? If this is why you're rocking my world right now because I'm a big. You guys know I like Team Marine Service on YouTube. I love them. I think they do a really good service.
I really like them too.
They spoke out massively about how great Gambler was and all this, that, and the other. And if it's true that all these things are happening, in my opinion, that brings credibility in question to Team Marine, which is rocking my world right now because I almost take what Andy Hauser says as gospel at this point. Just because he's a relatable guy and he understands how most of us feel about stuff. But that's
what I mean?
not quite gospel, but you don't understand. I have a lot of trust in his opinion, and now if it comes out as true, I'm like, well, shit.
What's up, Rob?
Like now I'm like
Hey, what's up,
concerned.
Robbie Rob.
Share the video, bro.
Robbie Riverboat.
Yep.
I don't.
He's chug-a-lugging
I don't
on that
think it's,
old rusty trailer.
I don't
Did he
think
go
it
get it?
takes
Did he
credibility away from them because they're really just talking. They're talking about the quality of the build, how the boat performs. They're
Yes.
never really talking about like the behind the scenes because
he talked a lot about the company and the people and how they run
Gambler
it.
builds
and,
an amazing boat.
oh,
craftsmanship.
for sure, hands down.
I don't know if you've ever seen one hand like up close.
No, I
like,
want
they're
one, dude.
so well made.
I freaking want one so
we
bad.
gotta get like CJ to come up here one weekend and fish
Yeah.
with us, and he can see CJ.
No,
CJ,
because then I'll go buy one and I'll be
What does
bankrupt.
CJ have? A 2100 ST or something?
He has a 20. He has a 20 Gambler 2100
With,
with a
SHO on it.
250 show.
That thing probably rips too.
Does
like
84.
85.
That's ridiculous.
Dude,
It
that's
was doing
so
80
fast.
today against the tide with the wrong prop. So
Yeah.
Did he not fish the Toyota series because he was fixing it?
yeah,
Because I know he fished the previous one. I'm assuming he's gonna fish the one on Potomac
yeah,
because
for sure.
it's CJ and he's a hammer down there.
What year
CJ's
is
a
it?
stud,
Is the
dude.
boat?
06 or something like that.
I want to
Okay.
say it's a 06.
Yeah, it's something like that.
It's just
It's
like
in great shape.
God, man, this is rocking my world right now.
Got to see it.
like to me, if again, this is all ifs. If it's true, like this is the same thing as what happened to Champion. Champion made a fantastic boat, and something behind the scenes just it fell apart. I almost wonder if we're at the point like this is what I envision happening to Icon is There's just not enough people.
They build $1 million boats. Their company is going to be fine.
There is no
Well,
issue with
yes,
money.
yeah, I agree with you. I
What's
agree.
gonna end up
I
happening
agree.
to Icon is it's such a big company, they're going to realize that there might be a loss of money, and they're going to cut it.
Yeah,
That's
The
what
co-
I.
the
That's what I'm
company is-
saying.
They might cut it, but the company is
Right. HCV
it's
is
not
going
like
to be
a-
around
yeah.
forever. Right. Now, what about Vexus?
Vexus is all the leftover Ranger people when
But they're not doing great right now either.
They
All
they
is not
are
well at Vexus.
Oh, dude,
They are
I
not
see
selling
so
a lot
many
of boats.
Vexuses. Every post I see of Vexus online is 2020 haul just replaced, selling it.
Yeah. All is not well at
Their
Vexus right now.
fiberglass boat, I can tell you, is the ugliest bass boat I've seen since.
I
then.
actually
I
agree with you.
disagree.
So
with
if
that.
you
I
take
agree with
if you
that.
take
It looks
that
like
VX
it looks like
VX21.
it looks like they cut a Ranger 521 in half and put a bayliner on the back of it.
so if you
That
take
is exactly what it looks like.
I will
I
say
love the flat deck on it. It's like completely flat all the way on the deck. Like there's no like lip. I think
That if
it's,
you,
like,
um,
cool looking.
It's cool till you kick a rod over the edge of it.
so who is
Yeah,
it?
true.
I think Brandon Card runs a Vexus,
Yeah, there's a couple guys on
and
his
he
Twitter.
he removed those big hooping metal pieces of crap, and it
Oh,
looks
on
a
the sides
thousand
of the
times
boat,
better.
Yeah, it looks.
I don't
just
know,
can't
dude.
Get down
Like,
with that.
I'll tell you right now. I look at bass boats the way I should be looking at like attractive women. Just putting that out there. But so like when I get bored at home, like I'll pull my laptop up and I'll like get my and I go on like
Just
Skeeter.
Don't put the super glue next.
And
to
I
it.
go on like
Start building
skeeterbassboats.com.
boats.
And yeah, essentially.
Me too.
I'm just being honest with you. Like it's like
How many different color combinations have you tried on those different ones?
I don't get that
I
far
feel like
because
I've
I
done
don't
about-
trust myself.
I feel like I've
because-
done about
I
1,000.
feel like Skeeter
Dude.
You
really
gotta
dropped
hit the
ball.
button.
Yes, if I get that far, I'm hitting the button. So I don't get that far.
You will not.
I feel
I
like
will.
You will
I
not.
absolutely.
To be
feel
fair,
like
it won't
that's-
allow you to buy them. You just give them your information, and somebody will call you, so you can just ignore them.
So I think.
But I wouldn't ignore the phone
I
call.
think
He's gonna put his
Skeeter is
credit
really
card number and
dropped
buy
the
an
ball with new
$85,000
shit.
bass.
Dude, it'd be
boat.
like the
Freaking-
meme where the guy
Oh.
just like.
I want to hear what Kevin said.
So everybody
Skeeter dropped the
knows
ball.
I'm a diehard Skeeter person. I think I'm on my third or fourth one now.
I don't know
and
why.
I just like them, and I can't take the sticker off the back of my truck and get a different boat.
That's true. That's true.
It's true.
But anyways, I really think they've really dropped the ball on their new lineup of boats. You know, as far as limiting their color combinations, they have like
Their build qualities kind of
and
went
their
down
build
too.
quality has gone down big time. I see a lot of new 2022s, 2023s with people complaining of just piss poor.
Do
quality.
you think?
I've seen so Jim Goins was looking at he was looking at
Oh,
he
he
had
was
ordered-
more
he
than
had
looking
ordered-
at it, right?
He had actually ordered the
it.
Skeeter.
Yeah. Mhm.
and he was looking at the FXR on the show. On the
I thought it
showroom.
was the ZXR, but it
That's
was
what he
like a
ordered.
loaded. Okay, I got you.
But he was
Go ahead,
looking
sorry.
at an FXR on the showroom, and he just kind of went down the side and just kind of went like this on the side. And he
They're
said you could
hollow,
watch
dude.
the fiberglass move
Yeah.
when you just hit it with your hand.
Now, like you do that to my boat. My boat
Yours is solid as hell.
solid as a rock.
Right.
I mean, my Skeeter is solid.
Like he said, you could actually watch the fiberglass move.
I mean, you know what I've done to my boat because you've been with me when I've done it. Like I treat that thing like it's an aluminum boat sometimes, and it's
Oh, yeah.
just, and that's just how you got to fish sometimes.
Well, it's like the old Rangers the same way,
yeah, they're tanks.
right?
They don't build boats like they used to.
I've had Kevin's boat over 70. It was fun.
I wasn't even on it.
He let me borrow.
That's how good of a friend I am.
He let me borrow his boat for a club tournament when I blew my motor up, and I came up. I was fishing the back channel flat. I was down by Abbey, and like it's like flat calm, like coming up the back channel, and I'm just like, brrr. I'm just drum up.
You have
I went like a
a
little
water
bit.
pressure gauge on yours, right?
Yeah, but it doesn't work half the time.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it was funny. I just went I went a little bit and then a little bit, and then I was like, yep, brrr, just held the trim down, and just
That's a nice thing about those Yamaha's HPDIs with the lower water pickup.
Is
They
you can
can
just
they
send
can
it,
run on
right.
like 2 pounds of water pressure perfectly fine.
Oh, mine does not. As soon as I go under 16, I'm getting an alarm.
so.
Yeah,
like
I can literally run on 2 pounds of water pressure all day long.
that's
minimal-
At
crazy.
wide open throttle because
I
it's
think-
more of a high volume than it is of pressure.
Yeah, minimum water pressure for a Yamaha's 8 psi.
Holy crap! I'm 16.
But it's pulling.
Like-
So the difference is the tube on an Evinrude is about this big, and a tube on a Yamaha is about this big.
Yeah, like it's got a whole lot of volume.
So it runs high.
I
volume
fight
to
this
it.
battle in multiple aspects of
We
life.
are
I'm telling
getting
you.
close
We are getting close.
to 9 o'clock. and the announcement is at 9. I want everybody to remember 9 o'clock announcement.
Yes.
We do have a 9 o'clock announcement.
I want
We have a big 9 o'clock announcement. It's going to be freaking awesome, and I would appreciate very heavily
Actually, we have
if
two.
all of you guys would hit the share
Yes.
button for
We have-
us
we have-
and get the details
Yes,
out.
please.
We
for
kind of have two.
everybody.
We kind of have two announcements, don't we?
We have two announcements. We have one announcement that is scheduled for 9, and we have another huge announcement that we could do right afterwards.
Do you-
Tony's
Yeah,
finally
we're in
coming out of the
huge
closet,
details
guys.
for this. Honestly, I'm kind of more pumped for the second announcement, to be honest with
So
you.
Tony and Chad are getting married.
No, I just said no marriage. It would be cool though. We'd have nice boats. So before we do that, just real quick talking about the boats. Do you guys think that not all, but boats are starting to resemble each other a lot more? I think that
I think the
that
quality control of boats is starting
I
to
think the
resemble each
FS
other a lot more.
well that I
I think
think
the
that
quality
I think
control
you're
of
onto
boats is
something
starting to
with
resemble people a
dude,
lot
I think the FXR looks very similar to the Ranger 521R.
No, they don't look anything alike.
The seats are the same. The seats are
Yeah,
identical.
more. You're talking
Guess what?
cosmetically?
Skeeter's been using those seats for like 6 years.
But
Yeah,
it doesn't-
Ranger
doesn't matter.
100% stole that design on seat
Okay.
from Skeeter.
But you're proving my point in
But-
that they're
So
starting
those
to
are
resemble
seats.
each other.
You can't. So keep in mind, they don't make those seats.
Correct.
Those,
Seats
a
on the
lot of those
Vexus
seats are.
nice.
Skeeter makes their own seats.
Does Skeeter make their own
Skeeter
seats?
does
Because
make
they
their
used to be
own seats.
LeBrock.
No, Skeeter has never used LeBrock.
Your seats are LeBrock.
Mine are LeBrock, but they're aftermarket.
Are they?
Yes. They just have a Skeeter sticker on them.
I would have to.
Fight.
I would have to. I know LeBrock makes a lot of seats
LeBrock-
for a lot of
LeBrock
manufacturers.
makes them for a lot of manufacturers. They make them for Charger. They make them
Phoenix.
for Phoenix. They make them for Champion.
They used to make it for Champion. Yeah.
Springfield makes them for Nitro.
Is it-
Springfield Marine makes them for
Okay.
Nitro.
Well, if they make them for Nitro, they probably make them for.
they're probably making them for Ranger.
Right.
But you got to
And
admit,
Triton.
if you look at the 521 seats before they knocked off Skeeter, they look like something that came off of a John Deere tractor.
Ranger seats are
Like
nice.
legitimate. They look
Dude,
just like a John Deere
My
tractor
seats,
seat.
the
There
seats
was
on my
nothing
Ranger are
appealing about
original. I'm just putting that out there.
I mean, that's not bad. They're
not bad.
original,
They're
but, like,
beautiful.
I'm saying the new.
I'd like to replace my seats because they actually hurt my back.
My seats are comfortable
Dude,
and they're not one rip on
the
them.
new
And they are
pedestal
24
seats and
years
everything
old.
on the Ranger are like, they're nice.
Oh,
they're
yeah,
actually
for sure,
comfy.
yeah.
And those pedestal seats, like the one, like I keep one on my boat at all times because of my ankles and shit. Dude, it's got like a nice ass backrest and shit on it. Like it's not.
Oh,
just
you're
a-
talking about you're talking about the
Fishing
old man seat.
Yeah, the pedestal seat, the old man seat. It's
The old
not
man
just.
seat.
It's not just a leaning post. It's got the whole backrest and everything. Like I'm like,
Yeah, that's for like your co-ang.
That's the Bill Dance seat.
yeah.
Somebody farted.
Well, it
Who
wasn't
did-
me,
Who did it?
and I don't smell it, so it's not
I'd have
Chad.
claimed it if I did it.
It wasn't me. You would have heard it.
Dude,
if
I
was
smelled
me.
it fart first. It's like somebody sucked it back up. Like it was there, then it was gone.
How do you suck a
Ma-
fart back
oh
up?
my
You haven't
Yeah.
seen that episode of Family Guy?
I think you're
Dude,
smelling your own
Steve-O
ass.
chugged a whole beer with his asshole.
Yes,
That
yes,
is
he
true.
did.
And then everyone else pissed themselves laughing about it.
Why wouldn't you?
But to be fair, he just kind of turned upside down and let it like pour in.
Yeah, it's true. Steve-O did some crazy shit.
Did you watch
Steve-O's
Jackass
hilarious.
4.5?
I watch it.
What's that?
Did
I
you
follow-
watch
I follow
4.5
Steve-O.
Jackass?
Maybe.
There's a whole lot of dong in it. I'm just giving.
I follow-
you guys
Oh,
I
yeah,
haven't
I've seen
watched
that
it.
one.
I
I've
haven't
seen-
watched the new one.
There's too much dong in it.
It's
Yeah,
still
yeah.
pretty funny.
I've seen that one. I remember watching. I was like, okay.
There was
It's
way
alright.
too much dong in that for my.
All
So
right.
I follow Steve-O on TikTok, and he just like tells story. It's basically just him
Yeah.
telling stories about
Yeah.
like his past. Like he has done some crazy shit.
Yeah, dude, the fact that
Hilarious.
dude's still alive is like wild.
I think the
Knoxville's
worst.
got, like gray hair now.
I don't know, dude. I think the worst one was Beehive Tetherball, in my opinion. It's just like, I don't know, man.
But anyway, back to fishing.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
it's almost time.
It is almost time. We are in the countdown. 3 minutes to go. So
Sorry, my cable was hung up.
We were talking about boats
So we have
resembling
the-
each other. I think boats resemble each other a lot more now
they
than they
do.
did.
I don't think boats resemble each other whatsoever. My obviously,
I
I'm
don't-
an aluminum
so I
Ranger.
don't-
My aluminum Ranger does not look anything like your Ranger.
Aluminum,
or his
though.
Skeeter, or
Aluminum,
his
but
Challenger.
it's
it's
aluminum.
aluminum. You
That's
can't
the
It's a
compare
bass
why.
boat.
yeah, but if you take your aluminum
mold
Ranger,
aluminum, like,
look at your aluminum
you can't
Ranger.
No,
fiberglass.
you can't mold aluminum like fiberglass, but still.
so
It's
take
a
all
bass boat. You can't say bass boats look like each other. There's so many different types of bass
But
boats.
you
Take-
can't
yeah,
compare a
but
fiberglass
take
boat
your-
to an aluminum boat.
take your
It's just-
aluminum
It's
boat.
completely different.
Take
your
it back.
take your
I'm
aluminum
not
Ranger.
taking it back. I'm
This is
telling you how
my
it
boat
is.
is superior to fiberglass.
I'm not. I mean, you can tell me
It
that all
might
day
it might
long, but
break
I'm just
over a
saying,
3
you
foot
can't-
So,
wave, but
take
you
me-
know
you
what?
Labatt Blue Light
you can't
break.
compare a hull design in
Take me-
aluminum to fiberglass.
So
No, I agree.
Let's
And
take
that's
it back.
where the boat starts at.
Take your aluminum Ranger, peel all the stickers off of it, and put it next to another aluminum bass boat. All aluminum bass boats are essentially the same.
It
as
looks
far
like
as
a
hull
G3.
As far as hull design.
I do not.
G3
I
Express.
do not think G3
Looks just like a G3.
Express and Ranger aluminum designs. They do
Take
have
the-
the triangle front end.
take
Express,
the cool,
no.
Take the cool
G3,
shit off.
yes.
I do not think, dude. I think Express looks different than all the other boats.
Strip
I
them
think,
down. Strip them down. Take the sea deck
There's
off.
only
I'm saying, dude. I'm looking at two boats floating on the dock.
There's only so much.
One's aluminum Ranger, one's aluminum Express. That aluminum Express does not look anything like
I
aluminum
get
Ranger.
Jason Boss's aluminum Express looks just like your
Does
Ranger.
Boss
I
have
actually
X19?
disagree.
It's an
I
aluminum
disagree.
boat. There's
As
only
far
so
as the
much.
way that it
there's
sits,
only
it's-
so
it's
much difference
just
you
a little
can do
shorter.
in crafting
Is it
aluminum.
the X19?
It's
But
shaped the same.
it sits
No.
different in the water though.
I don't remember which model.
It's
it is.
it's a 18. He's got
It's an
115 on it.
H18.
I think it might be the X18. It's got a
The
115 on it.
X18 is more rare. The 115 is probably H. Because the X18 is
series
rated
are
for a
more
115.
I don't know, dude. The reason I say this is I looked at the Triton 20 XS or whatever the new Triton is, and it to me it kind of looks like a Ranger.
So you can get a.
They
Well,
don't
it is a
anymore
Ranger.
though.
It is a Ranger.
So you got to look at.
But
So
Triton's hull shape.
what are
is
you
nothing
just?
like
What
a
are you
Ranger.
looking at? Are you just looking at like seats and stuff? Because
No.
the hulls are completely
I'm
different.
not
looking
hot.
at the hull design.
The hull design is completely different on a Triton than it is.
You
on a
can't compare it.
God damn it!
Tony just lost a leg.
Somebody get this boy some
Okay,
glue.
so we're gonna stop arguing about boats here for just a hot second, so that we can.
Because it's 9 o'clock and we have a promise that we need to maintain.
I have a leg to fix.
Do you have the?
Somebody get this boy a drywall screw.
Do you have
and
the
a drill.
thing?
The thing?
The thing.
The thing is right behind you.
See, it's not my fault.
And then we have some other things right here.
We have lots of things.
We'll talk about those later. Another time.
These? Okay.
We're gonna do.
How did I
It's just part of a different giveaway.
It'll be. Those will be later.
So wait, we're gonna do premium giveaway first.
Yes.
Premium.
drywall screw.
This is the premium giveaway. This is what you guys have all been waiting for. The first giveaway is going to be the number one giveaway. This is the one that you want to get into.
So
If-
we're gonna. Yes. Sorry,
Another
sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, this is the one you want to get into. If I was me, and we have about 4 different giveaways to do throughout an allotted amount of time,
Over the next month or so.
month, 2 months.
half.
We have
Whenever-
like 4, whatever.
Whenever we remember.
Yeah, whenever we remember, whatever we decide, and this is the Mac Daddy right yonder. Can I say it? Can I give the little hint of what is sitting in that
So
little
first,
white
before
envelope
we do that, let's tell them how to enter. So we're gonna make a post. So look for our post on Bass and Beer Radio
Tomorrow.
We're gonna need you to like, share, and tag a friend in that post. And that will, if you like, share, and tag a friend, that's going to enter you into the drawing to win this, which is a bag full of goodies.
I mean, like juice.
There's some good stuff in here.
There's some hand picked juice in this bag.
Juicity. If you're not liking and sharing,
We're gonna
like and
open it
share.
up here just to give
Oh, you
guys.
can't show everybody what
I'm
is
not,
in there.
I'm not going to
but,
show everything.
like,
We're
you
just
know.
going to show a couple of things.
Did you show them what's in the envelope?
So we have a
I would-
juicy little envelope here.
I mean-
So just one of the things that's included in here. This is a 6-month subscription to Bass University.
I don't even have that.
Yeah.
I don't have
I
Bassio.
don't have it. Either.
I do.
I would totally, and I'm kind of jelly because now I'm literally going to have to go buy one, even though there's one sitting right next to me.
So
I'm not.
Bass
I'm just
U
gonna keep on
is-
fishing.
I'm going to.
I have learned a lot of stuff from Bass U. There are a lot of good seminars that you can get on there. The Rapala discount alone, I pay for my membership every year as the Rapala discount. So you get Bass U get a 40% discount from Rapala from their website. So if you fish Rapala crankbaits as much as I do, you can save a lot of money.
40% discount on Rapala with Bass
Terminator
University.
frogs are also made by Rapala.
I'm sold.
Ooh.
Sold.
Them things are junk. They
Yeah,
don't
I mean,
catch
that's
any
it right
You
there.
so I will show this. This is, since this is one of our sponsor base, we have a nice Tailored Lures frog in here. Nice little white frog. They're
Dude,
literally by
the
camera.
Tailored Lures frogs, man.
And
Fantastic little frogs, dude. Great profile. For their small profile, they cast really well.
there's some terminal gear in here. We got some plastics, some money plastics, some
Bass
We got some
munitions.
Bass Munitions plastics.
Drop
there.
shot
Wrong with the
magnets.
bass munitions.
So,
Drop shot
Got a good
worms.
little drop shot worm there. This is not a sponsor of the show, but a local guy. Asian Persuasion Baits or Asian Persuasion Bass Lures.
Persuasion.
That's pretty awesome. Who
That's,
makes
yeah.
that?
Ken.
That's fantastic.
So,
that is amazing. I
he
love that.
He makes
Isn't
these. It's a pretty good plastic. He makes a really good lizard, a really good 10-inch worm. Also makes a Zaco knockoff too. That's what I use for practice.
Practice.
Yeah.
So
Practice.
You're supporting your friend by leaving stuff
Playoffs?
in practice.
I mean,
Hey, it counts. You
Confidence,
still get bites on it,
That
right?
shit.
yeah, they still work.
What if I told
We got
you?
some. I'll just show the top.
There's some juice in here, dude. Is that a jack? Oh my god.
There's
Oh
some.
my goodness! You whoa, whoa!
I didn't show that. There's some G crack in here. Some
Crack.
I put some
Zoom.
Jack Hall stuff in there also.
There's some Jack All stuff in here.
I mean, dude, there's JDM shit in this bag.
There's
What would you say the value
There's
of this bag is?
there's some swim baits in here that aren't made anymore that are kind of sick.
Oh, maybe
Well,
I
some of
should-
the old
maybe I
habits,
should have kept
yeah.
them.
See what I did there? I said they're kind of sick because it's called the sick fish.
Who makes
I caught a
those
lot of
havocs?
fish on them. Yeah, you know, drop shotting them. Caught a lot
Yeah,
of fish.
there's some crankbaits in here.
We got a couple crankbaits in here. Or we got one crankbait in here. Maybe we'll throw another one
I
in
think I
there.
threw a frog.
I
in
think
there.
I
There's
might
a-
have a UMA
I took the
lures
frog out.
crankbait laying around. We can throw in this.
I
bag.
replaced the frog with the Taylor Lures frog, so we can
Okay.
give the
Give
frog
it
away
one
with some
over.
other
Yep.
with the other ones.
Yeah. What would you guess the estimated value of this bag is, Paul?
I don't know. I'm not looking at it.
Probably
Well,
well
Oh, here's
over-
another. This is another
well
local
over
company
100.
from Pennsylvania, Z-Bait.
Oh, I like this.
Yeah.
A lot.
Those are
So I mean,
I like it a lot.
I like it a lot. This is pretty cool, Davis.
75. I mean, well over $100.
Yeah, for sure. No problem.
Yeah, well over $100 value.
well over $100 giveaway bag here. And it's all good quality stuff.
Yep.
Yeah,
we did
it's
not.
not
There
like-
is nothing in that
So-
bag that you would not see tied onto any of our rods. in
I
this room
promise
right
you
now.
that the stuff that's in this bag is stuff that we currently fish.
Yes.
Guaranteed.
So
It,
we
it
didn't want to
ain't
give
like
away.
right, and it ain't like. And,
I'm sorry.
And no,
I will say most of the stuff because I don't fish those.
what is that?
I've tried them. I don't like them.
What is it?
It is a.
But I know other
no-
people here. I know other.
people will find.
I know other.
Look, Paul doesn't like them, but it's a good crank.
I know
What is
Chad. I know Chad likes them.
What brand is it?
It's a 13 fishing.
I've never used them.
I know
It
Chad
ain't-
likes them. I
it
know.
ain't
Like,
Spro,
I know
I
Chad
ain't
likes
using
that
it.
style of crankbait. It's just not for me.
daddy's daddy
It is definitely prevails in some of
I get
those
down with some Spro gear.
more muddy water
That rock
situations.
I can
crawler
see
is
that.
badass.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
keep that in mind. So that giveaway is happening. You look for the post on Facebook tomorrow. You must like the post. You must share the post.
And tag a
you
friend.
must tag a friend. And you must also be following Bass and Beer Radio.
Peter on your Peter wagon.
So if you're not following Bass and Beer Radio, we're not going to put you on the list.
It also
so you must
comes-
be following Bass and Beer Radio. Tag a buddy. And the only way for your buddy to enter in is to do the same thing.
Also comes in this nice Lakewood mesh bag. So, pretty cool little mesh bag. Has a nice
Although it's not waterproof, guys,
What's that?
don't get your hopes.
Well,
Because it's
that's
mesh. Water goes
why I
through
said it's
the
a mesh bag.
It is a mesh bag. For some of the future giveaways that we have, what we do have here is we have 4.
We got some Bass Mafia money bags.
Did you buy
Bass
that just
Mafia
to get in
money
the
bags.
Skeeter getaway on Tackle Warehouse?
Maybe.
Okay, that's what I thought. I bought some too. It's
We've
not
got
just
4
him.
Bass Mafia money bags here.
You guys go to Tackle Warehouse.
And we're gonna fill
all
those.
the time. Where do you go?
We're gonna fill all
We're gonna
these.
fill those up
each-
with some
each
baits.
of these up with good
We'll have to
baits.
talk about
So those will be
And-
coming. Those will be coming later.
Yep.
You know, we'll try to do one. Every couple weeks, we're gonna do a giveaway.
Dude, these money bags are. These
They're
aren't.
zippers.
These are waterproof except for the zipper, right?
Somebody get
Well,
this boy
they
to drive
have a
off through.
Ziploc below there.
Okay,
Seems
right
like my
on. So
truck, just
the
barely
Bass
holding
Mafia
together.
money bags, these are waterproof bags. These are big enough to fit soft plastics in, some hook boxes, some stuff like that.
Look
Look
at
at
break that sucker.
yeah,
Get it open.
you know,
Yeah, it is it's
time.
definitely a serious Ziploc.
these are very nice bags for. I would definitely say, dude, if you're going to be a co-angler on a boat or something like that, you need to bring a couple plastics. Boom, fits anywhere
Can I
on
see that?
anybody's boat.
Wow, this is thick. with
It's
like
it's-
3
It's
seals.
a good quality bag from Bass Mafia, no doubt.
That's what she said.
So, and they
Jesus.
make different sizes of these bags too. These are the bags that we have gotten from Bass Mafia this time to do the giveaway for you guys. We're gonna fill them up with some premium plastics and some great baits, and
Probably gonna fill
we're
those up
We're
with
gonna
some-
send them out to you.
Gonna fill this up with some bass munitions.
Dude,
Um,
wow, that's serious stuff there.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
We're gonna fill them up with some bass munitions. Try to get maybe some Taylor doors. For
Oh,
us.
we got some stuff to talk about with Bass Munitions. I'm having
Oh. Tony wants to design a bait.
I'm having a conversation with Mr. Larry this weekend. Hopefully, I'm very busy this weekend. Number one, very busy this weekend. Number one busy guy in the United
Kevin.
States. Anyway, very busy this weekend. But
Was that a 6 cents? It might have been. I don't know.
I am having a
That's why I
conversation.
didn't put it in the primo box.
I'm having a conversation with Mr. Larry about designing a worm. I have an idea in my mind of something that I have had a lot of success on this year.
There's a skeeter on your Peter. Flick it off.
But no, like in all seriousness, we're having a conversation hopefully tomorrow about what I'm looking for in this bait and what he's looking for. But I'm actually pretty excited about it because one, I know that if this takes off and he does what he can do with these baits, is a couple things. Number one, we will all be able to enjoy this type of bait at a much better value because we're going to get 3-4 extra baits for the money versus what you would get with Zoom, what you would get with Berkeley, whatever.
I don't know. It's pretty hard to beat Zoom value.
I thought the same thing. Now wait a minute.
They're pretty cheap.
Where are those Holston worms?
You
Get
get
the
like a
Holston
20
worms.
This
Glass
right
bag of
here
trick
is a
worms for like
Mr.
$5.
Snails special, though.
What, that?
Oh, a
Does he
centipede?
throw
That
that
is a
thing?
Mr. Snails special.
Does he throw it?
A centipede?
Does he-
That's all he throws.
No,
a
he throws
centipede.
That one right here?
No.
green
He throws
pump-
a Zoom centipede.
A Zoom green pumpkin centipede
Oh,
and
we
a
got-
white spinnerbait.
We got to get.
Missile or
That's
a
all the man throws.
Bass Munitions, Green Pumpkin,
We
centipede.
got to get Mr. Snail some of these.
That is a Mr. Snails special.
Let me see the Holston worms. So, and here's what I want to go with here.
That basket behind you has
I
a
have-
bunch of shit in it.
You got them right there.
Oh, this is the famous little green worm.
That's the
Yeah,
one.
that's
Yep,
the one.
that's the
That's
one
the
I'm
one.
looking for.
So you get a 12 count. It's a 12 pack.
That's pretty decent. I mean, a lot of baits.
Considering like Zoom finesse worms come in a 20 pack.
Yeah, but not at
Those.
the same price. Like a Zoom 20 pack of
20
finesse.
pack a 20 pack of Zoom finesse worms is like $4.
No way.
Yeah,
I've never
100%.
seen it. I can't. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. I have never seen it. I only see them in like
Like I
8
said,
packs.
I'm not saying now different. It is different. These worms are a lot softer. They have a lot more action. But if you want to just talk about value, I mean, it's really hard to beat Zoom.
Long story short, we're trying to design a worm, and I think it's going to be pretty awesome because, God, I shouldn't even say this. It's something that me and Buckland have been fishing a lot.
Oh,
this
you're
year.
definitely dying next week.
Right.
Like Buck's just gonna come back with Tony's boat and be like, I don't know.
Right, probably. It
I don't think you gave away much there, but
it's something that me and him have been using
20
a
pack,
lot.
$5.49.
Yeah.
Damn.
You can't mess with Zoom trick worms, son.
You can't mess with
Okay,
it.
I stand corrected.
I can't
I
even
stand
tell you.
corrected.
that doesn't
So-
mean that you shouldn't have different brands of plastics.
No, because they
to
do
use in
different
your
things.
boat.
Right.
So Kevin, I was actually. It's funny that he makes that up. And you being a machinist, that'd be an excellent side hustle for you.
What, make an injection mold?
Make an injection mold.
It's a lot harder than you think.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, but I mean, I assume you probably have the skill.
I
to do
have
it.
made one. Yeah, I've made one.
I thought we were gonna make like Bassamere Radio poop jigs.
But they
So, here's the thing with
those injection molds, like to have one designed, it's a lot of money.
I know.
I mean, you're looking at like to have one, a custom one made for you. I want to say the last time that I looked at it was like $1,200 to $1,500 to have a custom one made for you.
So here's where, because I have looked into it, I have access to my own machine outside of my full-time gig, and there's a lot more that comes into this topic of making injection molds than people think. So when you're making an injection mold, you have to have an extremely high-speed machine,
Okay.
very high RPM spindle, high-speed machining, because what you're doing is you're doing 3D contouring
Yeah.
with very small tooling.
Okay.
In order to have this plastic not show a bunch of lines and ribs,
Sure.
is where that high-speed machine comes in handy because you're surfacing. You're making very, very, very small stepovers like this.
Yep.
No,
And I guess that gives you a much smoother.
correct.
Okay. That makes sense.
And it becomes very time-consuming to make one because if you make one and the model that the person has given you has a glitch in the model,
Right.
and it turns out that they don't like it, well, there goes all that time because you can't put that thing back in there and reload it and remachine out of the space that they want.
Yeah. No, that's true.
I've
And
had,
I'm
I've had a
assuming-
lot of people come to me and ask me about making.
And I'm assuming that's why they're so expensive to have
Yes.
them made.
You really have to be tooled up for it.
Yeah.
Could I make one? Yes, I could. I have made one before.
You just don't have the desire
I just
to.
don't have the desire to get into it because I don't feel like dealing with people saying, "Oh, I don't like this cavity over here. I don't like this imperfection over
hard.
here."
I mean, it's always hard to deal
Because it
with.
changes everything.
It changes everything.
Right.
When you're making
And
when
I
you're
don't
making
have the
custom
patience,
stuff like that, it's always
especially
hard
when
to
it-
deal with people.
Like I said, I don't really need to make it for someone. Like I don't. If it was my full-time gig, then yeah, I'd put all my effort into it. But I could put all my effort into doing that, and it would literally be so time-consuming making it so perfect. And then someone saying, "Oh yeah, well I don't like this injection mold. It's gonna have to change."
But you have to.
Imagine,
I imagine you could probably set up, something to the effect of like, it's going to cost you like a portion, a portion for each mold I make you.
So when it comes to CNC machining, a lot of people don't realize, like, they think it's just, oh yeah, you just push a button and it does it. No, there's a whole lot more to it. You have to get a model design of what you want. Okay, then you have to go and you got to go into a computer and you have to design, and then you have to make tool paths. You can
You have to make several different designs.
Right,
too.
yeah, you
Like,
could have
can't-
6-7 hours alone just in programming this thing before it even goes to the machine. And
So,
you could even
I remember
make
even
a cut.
something as simple as that that mount you made me for my units.
Right.
I remember you told me that it took you like 2 hours to do that on the.
Right, it took me 2 hours just to design that and program it.
Right.
Why don't they use
Before we
plaster
could even
of
make it.
Paris?
I mean, and that's really and that I mean that's not there wasn't anything too intricate about that. I mean, other than it had a couple of angles to it, in the measurements, but.
It took me more time with that one because I really had to trig a couple angles out as far as getting it offset because of the way you wanted it
Right.
offset to make sure that it cleared your trolling motor. But a lot of people don't realize that kind of stuff with, when it's just one, you're just making one of them, there isn't much money to be made on my end. So that's why I just don't even advertise that I do that
Well,
stuff.
I think that's why, like,
If they were making like 1,000 of them, then yeah.
I want to think
Bring it
about.
on.
Imagine the amount of designing and time that, like, so like, I'm gonna say like Chris Zaldane just came out with the Zaldingus or whatever it is, that mag draft looking swim bait. Let's put it that way.
Zal Dangerous.
The top hook
The
mag
Zal
draft.
Dangerous.
Let's just call it the top hook
No,
mag draft
No,
because
listen, it is
it's pretty cool.
definitely innovative with their
the top
the
hook.
hook harness and like how they did that stuff for sure. But I imagine the amount of times that they went back and had to redesign the mold for that bait.
Oh, yeah.
For all the different
I will
what
say
mean?
that
Like,
as much as we bashed on that for a while, that top hook design is something that I've actually
phenomenal.
looked
Right,
for
Dan.
in a
Set up
mag
It's
See,
phenomenal.
because I don't the freestyle is it's okay.
Dude,
it's a good bait.
It's a line through top hook design.
But
it's like
I want something that I like. There's times I want something with that hook sticking out. Like I don't want that hook hidden. Like
Yeah.
I want that better hook up ratio.
Right.
And there's nothing. I mean, Magdraft has that bottom hook, and the problem with that bottom hook is if there's any sort of grass around, it's
Anything.
done.
Right.
even
grass,
rock, dude,
rock.
even the rocks around here back in the quarry
Yeah.
and stuff
Grass,
becomes
rock,
problematic.
wood. You can't.
Roger.
You can't
Yeah,
get
wrote
it.
him.
You can't get it through there.
So I just wanted to bring this up. Jonathan Brooks Paticus, I can't pronounce his last name, but he's somebody we should really talk to a little bit more. He's made some noise on some local derby.
He's selling that
on,
boat.
on some Costa series, I believe is what he fishes as co-angler. He's really done.
Yeah, he's done really well.
He's done really well. He's somebody I think we should really consider having on the show.
I like him
quite
because
a
he's got
hammer.
an Evan root on the boat. That's what I'm talking about.
There you go.
He actually he
He's-
just bought that boat like 2 months ago, and now he's selling it. I meant to. I saw him put it up for sale. I meant to ask him about it.
Is it because of the Evan root? Be honest. I love mine. I've had very good success, good luck
Yeah,
with mine.
that's the same motor you have.
Right. It looks.
Is it the
like,
same motor?
Yeah, that's the same motor. Well, that's a 250, but
Is it the same year? I wonder. Probably close.
So we should respond to Jonathan and try and get him on the show. He's a pretty knowledgeable dude. He's like Paul can
Yeah,
vouch.
he's pretty cool. I tried when he was looking for a boat. I helped him out a lot. He was looking at Champions.
Yeah, he's won. I think he's won a couple of co-angler series.
Yeah, I know he fishes some BFLs and stuff like that. I think he fishes
he's won and done pretty well on some bigger stuff. If I'm not
I want to say he
mistaken.
fishes like the Shenandoah division of the BFLs.
Yeah.
So they fish like Smith Mountain, James,
Yeah.
and Potomac.
Potomac.
He's a stick. He's definitely
Kerr.
somebody who would be
Kerr,
worth having
that's a
on
big
here.
one, yeah.
And I'm pretty sure
That is
he's
a big
local.
one.
I'm
Kerr is
surprised that
such a huge lake.
and it doesn't fish as well as other lakes. Like Smith
What do you
Mountain all the time is producing
Because it's a
better
herring
lakes.
lake.
No, it's because it's got F1s in it.
It's because it sucks. I don't know.
It's because it's got F1s in it.
What, Smith Mountain?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why.
I mean,
That's why. I don't care.
Oh, dude, I want to talk about that.
So
we talked about.
you gotta keep in mind. So the
Okay. All right.
whoa, hold on.
All right, devil,
Hey,
get the
Hold
devil
on,
dog
hold
out
on,
of here.
hold on. We are all wrapped up here. All right.
It's like Chad's jig on Thursday night. Just.
So
All right, there we go.
So Kerr is tough because Kerr's a herring lake. There's a lot of blueback herring in Kerr.
You got to know how to fish blueback herring.
You
lakes.
have to know how to fish them, and it doesn't set up quite the same as a lot of other blueback herring lakes. So the local guys, I can't remember the one guy's name. There's a team down there that wins practically everything that's on Kerr. You'll see them fish a tournament, and they come in with 26 pounds, and second place is like 17.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And it's just knowing how to fish it.
Right.
I mean, one of those guys fished the 2-day ABA down there and won by like 15 pounds.
Yeah.
Because he knows how
fishing herring lakes is something that is completely different than what we fish up here.
Oh yeah.
I experienced it when I went down and fished with Dreamcatchers a couple months ago.
They're just pelagic
It is just
offshore fish, right?
It is just a completely different way to fish.
Yep.
And you have to if you aren't in that mindset and you aren't dialed in on it, you are just lost. You are completely lost.
It took me a while to figure it out on Murray.
Yeah, it is very different. I mean, stuff like even when we go to Anna, the way we approach fishing Anna it still doesn't compare to fishing a blueback
Totally
herring.
different.
I mean, some of it.
Dude, fishing
Some of
Anna
it's kind of-
some of the stuff we do is kind of the same.
It is similar, but it is still like a situational time.
Like where we found like that second
That
day.
is a blueback herring pattern for sure.
Yeah. When,
We don't talk
that
about
second time that we went up.
We don't talk
when
about
we,
that.
When we went down for the weekend.
Yeah, we don't
that
talk about
was,
that.
That was like typical blueback herring fishing.
Yeah, we don't. We still keep that on the
You're finding
under there.
You're finding it's blueback herring they'll sit on they'll suspend over like
Careful.
humps and stuff.
Careful.
What?
Careful.
Careful.
You see, I could discuss this.
We're
but
talking about
I-
blueback herring, and nobody cares about this stuff. So blueback herring will sit over main lake structure, and it's funny because when they push down is when they'll push down, and then the bass will push them up. So there's very small windows that you catch them. So as the bait fish go down, then the bass will come up, and they'll push the bait to the surface, and then they'll come back down. And it's just kind of a cycle like that. So when you're fishing blueback herring lakes, you kind of have to run these main lake places, and you got to hit one when they're firing. Mm-hmm. And then then you'll run to another one. They might not be firing there. If they're not firing there, you leave. Like it's not. Let's stop and make a few casts. Like if they're not busting, just leave.
Wow.
You have to know. So you have to know where those bass move up and where that herring is located. Where they're going to move up on those points.
The thing with herring lakes is those fish are on the move almost as much as, if not more than, tidal fish.
Yep.
They are chasing bait all the time.
I actually just heard this was a trick that I just heard on from a fisherman that was actually on TikTok. So they were in Hartwell for the high school national championship.
Right.
And he said you'll watch. If you watch like a local tournament, you'll see guys, fishing their bite stops, like on a point. They'll get on their big motor and they'll run circles over top of the structure. What it does is it pushes the herring down to the bass, and then the bass will come up and eat them.
Remember Jason Christie did that on Grand Lake a couple years ago in a classic.
Doing what?
Doing circles, pushing bait together, and then he would stop and throw topwater and catch his fish. Jason Christie did that that year that Hank Cherry almost won.
I have
The one that
done.
Edwin won?
No, Edwin didn't. What's his name?
Cliff Pace?
Cliff Pace won it. The one that Cliff Pace won on Grand Lake. It
That was the
like
one that was
butt
super cold. Yeah, like half
Butt
the
cold.
Like I remember Skeet Reese ran to his first spot and it was covered in ice.
Yeah.
He'd
Yeah,
been
it
catching
was-
them there
it was
2 days
that one.
before.
It
That
was
was the
that
one. Remember the first day of the tournament, all their boats were first to the trailers.
Yep. That was when Hank Cherry made his first. Hank Cherry and Brandon Polinick first made their real first
Yeah.
big showing.
Yeah,
Was
Palinick
that
was throwing a wiggle wart.
Yeah.
He was throwing a wiggle wart.
And then, I'm a big fan of Hank Cherry. I think he
He
is.
seems like a good dude.
He's a very good dude.
I've met him before.
I've
He's
met
a
him.
very
He's
good
a
guy.
very down to earth, just real, well kept, well mannered. Doesn't have.
He's an army guy, isn't he?
I don't know that to be true.
I want to say he was in the army.
I'm gonna check that.
He's
because
his
if so,
head's not
kudos.
blown up. He's like if you met him on the street, you wouldn't think nothing of it. He's very very mellow.
If he
Well,
is, that's hope for me. So
The cool thing about a lot of those
And plus,
guys,
people tell me I look like him when I shave my beard off.
there's a lot of guys
I could see that.
that are on
You
tour.
can see that too.
I can see that.
And a lot of guys that are on the Elite Series, that are currently on the Elite Series, that are like that. The group of guys that they have on the Elite Series now is like a really just good group of a group of good people.
Yeah. Well, another thing, like with Hank, with that classic that Hank Cherry fished that one where he almost won, Cliff Pace won, he straight up, him and Brandon Polnick both were sleeping out of the back of their freaking trucks.
Yeah.
For that entire stretch of that tournament in Oklahoma, and it's like 30 degrees at night.
Brandon Palaniuk, for the first 2 years he was on tour, slept in the back of his truck and ate peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Yep.
I mean, because
it's like-
that was what he was going to do. Like that's the commitment that you have to make.
Yeah.
To make it. It's
Yeah,
not gonna be
I think a
all-
lot of people do not realize the sacrifice that you have to make to be successful in this industry.
That's why I've never gone for it because it's insane. I was talking about it today with a coworker. It's insane.
Yeah, I mean,
You give up everything.
a lot of people, and you see people, people post online like, oh, their sponsors pay all their entry fees for them. They don't.
Yeah.
Not if you're new. Somebody who just
Right.
comes on somebody who's just like, say you fish the Opens this year. It's the first year fishing the Opens. You qualify for the Elite Series. There ain't people banging down your door to give you money to fish the Elite Series. Like, you got to go out there and work and market yourself and really drum up those deals. I mean that's essentially what Matty Wong did. He was able to, sounds just from hearing him talk, he's very good at being able to sell himself.
Yeah.
And he was able to work out a deal with Mega Bass and work out some deals that would allow him to fish the Elite Series. After winning and him even worse. Like he won the nation championship. Like, it's not like he fished the Elite Series and got any kind of exposure there. He just won the nation championship. Palaniuk was the same way.
But another thing, like with Matty Wong, is like, how many Hawaii anglers do you get?
I mean, technically he's from California.
Do they have any
But
lakes
he was,
in Hawaii?
oh yes,
Yeah, he
For real?
yes. My old tour
he
partner.
lived in Hawaii, I think, till he was like 14 or 15.
I thought he came from the Hawaiian Bass Nation.
No,
Okay.
California. He fishes California.
So there are lakes with bass in California, or not? I'm sorry, Hawaii.
There's smallmouth in Hawaii.
There is tons of smallmouth in Hawaii.
Not tons.
Mind blown.
There's not tons.
Well,
but there's
Hawaii's
I mean-
kind of having some hard times. Right?
That's
There-
like the last
it's
place I would
one of the
believe
islands
that
is.
there's smallmouth.
So my
So
old
Hawaii's
tournament,
having a hard time.
my old
right
tournament
Oh, yeah.
partner, who I can
Yeah.
promise you,
Yeah, I've talked to him quite a bit about fishing over there.
yeah. So I talked to him yesterday. Actually, I talked to him this morning also because he's not on the same island as all that. But when I saw that happening, you just had to reach out to him because Alec is now in. I can't remember the island he's on, but it's a different one. But anyways, him and I fished together on the Battle Series for
He's probably
2
in like
years.
Honolulu or something.
I don't know. I can't remember because he's in the Navy and his wife's in the Air Force. But anyways, he was the original swim bait. I had never even heard of swim baits until I met Alec. Literally, never heard of people.
He knows
catching-
things about swim baits that Chad's probably never heard of.
Yes, I can 100% promise you this guy has more
for
knowledge
sure,
about
dude.
swim baits
Because
in
he
one
will-
finger
Yeah,
than
for sure.
anybody in this room.
So because he came up in that California swim bait craze,
right, he
Yeah.
grew up in California during that craze.
Yeah.
you know,
And
where
he
you
was-
could catch, you know, when they were catching, you know, 15 to 20 pounders.
Yes. And his commitment to swim baits, it was just unreal from the moment I met him and fished with him. You know, we would get our limit and he would instantly pick up the big bait. And he said, "You do your thing, I'm doing mine. We got our limit. Let's go. I'm throwing big baits."
Did he catch them?
That's what I do a lot of times, if I can.
Every now and then.
Every now and then he would hook one, and it would be the one. You know, we did all right. We ended up.
I thought you guys got second in that one.
We got
battle
second
series.
one of them, and overall in points for the entire season, we ended up sixth.
Which is good,
Out of
because they're-
160 some boats.
Right.
Those are
teams.
some Potomac hammers.
Yes, and that was our first year fishing together. And he came here from Hawaii. He came here from Hawaii. Never fished Potomac or nothing. And our first year fishing together, we finished in the top 10 and some of the biggest hammers on the Potomac.
So you gotta, I mean, you just say, like, for the listeners, like, Kevin makes it sound like he just came from, like, he just came from Hawaii, California, came over here. He never,
No, Alec can
Alec
adjust
has
on the
fished
fly.
everywhere in the country.
Being
He's
in the
fished
Navy, he has been everywhere.
he's fished with a lot of pros. He's fished a lot of opens as co-angler.
Yes.
He fished with, he fished with Hank Cherry.
He fished with Hank Cherry on
In an open.
the open that got him onto the Elite Series
Is
that
the
he
one?
won
Yeah.
on Lake Norman was the one, and he was actually throwing one of Alec's baits that Alec made him.
Duke said
Just
big
remember Alex
baits
used
are
to be-
overrated. I said what I said.
Was it a
I agree.
jig?
Big baits are not.
Because he was
No.
talking about
in my opinion.
how crazy
Alec,
Hank Cherry was at skipping a jig.
Yeah.
in that tournament.
completely
That's-
underrated, in my opinion.
around here, I think they're overrated.
Duke,
'Cause I've
I
been
would
other
say they're
places and
overrated.
thrown 'em.
I would say that they're overrated here.
Not everything around here is a big bait fishing thing.
In my opinion,
this is not a place where you go throw a big bait all day long. It's just not one of those things. You need to learn when to apply.
in
your
my
big bait
opinion,
to your
after going and
tournament
fishing
fishing.
some of these deep, crystal clear lakes in the mountains of North Carolina, with, from what I understand, is one of the top 5 swim bait fishermen in the nation, according to Ben Milliken. This place, it just is not set up for swim baits. This, there's a situation for it where the bite does appeal here, but you go to these other places
Well,
where
that's
you
why
have
they're-
crystal clear water.
Yeah.
That is where swim baits are gonna.
That's
are
why they're
gonna
so.
swell.
That's
Yeah.
why they're so. I mean, that's why the big baits are so good
It's
on
big
like,
bait
Loch
draw.
Raven.
They can see them from a long distance away.
Like
They
Loch
clear
Raven,
reservoirs.
big baits are serious players on
Yeah,
Loch
big
Raven
baits are big players in Loch Raven.
because of the water clarity.
Right.
You have
But at the end of the day,
Loch
like,
Raven.
what's the
you
main
got
forage on Loch Raven?
gizzard shad.
Gizzard shad.
What's the main forage in the GP?
White
Not
perch.
gizzard
Not shad.
White
Shad?
perch.
Not shad at all.
No,
Dude,
it's shad. Definitely shad.
definitely
those,
shad.
I don't know.
Dude,
100%
those fish in that
shad.
So you're
grit.
telling me that we've been whacking
Definitely
them on a
shad.
jig with crawfish trailers, and you're telling me that's not the main forage right
Well, it
The
now?
depends
main
on where you're
forage
at.
is shad.
Like out in that grass, I am 100. You're watching them just pound
Right.
schools of shad.
But
Way
that's-
more shad than
there's-
crawfish. Way more.
It depends on where you're fishing in this river, and I can guarantee you there's more of a crawfish pattern than there is a shad pattern on this river.
Well, I can tell you that
100% promise you.
I apply most of my
I
big
would
bait
disagree.
patterns into the Forbidden Zone, which is
The
a
forbidden
shad
zone,
holding area.
it just does it.
I've caught many outside of the Forbidden Zone too, though.
But that's just it. It's a situational position.
So I
What
missed
catches
The
more
Forbidden
fish?
Zone and the quarry are just set up better for throwing glide baits and stuff.
They
like
are
that.
because it's a deeper, clearer situation.
Okay, but I've also
I missed
connected
a-
with many mag draft fish in the canals. Many.
I'm not
Tons.
saying it's not, but what has more success? Flat out, bottom line.
Obviously throwing
Chatterbait.
a little freaking jig
What's a
is
chatter-
going to get bit by
what's a
more
chatter-
fish than throwing a 6-inch
What's
freaking
it-
soft plastic.
Yeah, but why do I catch bigger fish on a jig than I do on a swim bait?
Why has the biggest fish that I've ever caught in the gunpowder 2 years in a row not come on?
It was on a chatterbait.
One of them was.
I feel like both of them were.
I know they were both on chatterbait.
Both
I
on
thought
the
one of
same
them was on a
chatterbait,
frog.
which is a shad pattern.
The big bait bite is just not always the bite. It's just not always it.
I can honestly, like, I've caught more fish over 5 pounds on a jig than any other bait.
Yeah.
You throw a jig
agree.
more than any other
Agree.
bait.
No, I don't.
Definitely don't. It's a
Situational.
situational. Right now, there's a jig in my hand nonstop because it's situational.
There's one on the deck, but there's also
What's situational about
there's
it?
also a spinnerbait.
We're not getting into that on air.
Oh yeah, we're definitely not talking
That's
about that.
juice that you just don't talk about.
What's situational about a jig right now? Because it's muddy?
I refuse to talk about
We
it.
just don't talk about it.
That doesn't even make sense. That's
No,
what-
it does. That's what makes me and Paul having a limit every single freaking week, opposed to coming in skunked.
Put it
because
this
we
way.
can understand what the situation's doing.
To be fair, I've been fishing grass until this week.
I was going to say, you're not
Either
even
way.
throwing a jig right now, are you?
I caught every fish I caught last night on a jig.
I thought you were throwing one of those other things.
I caught every fish I caught last night. I caught on a jig because of the situation.
Yeah, it's you have to understand the situation when they're biting and what they're doing. That's what it comes down.
Thanks, Ken Berry.
Mr. Ken.
Because it was-
Even Ken can vouch for this because the solstice. Ask Ken, what did I catch? What did we catch all our fish on when we finally figured it out on a jig?
Yeah, it's there. So, again, it's
a
all
situational
situational.
thing.
All baits are situational. So you have to know when to throw.
That's
it.
what I said about swim baits. It's situational around here.
I'm just saying the
It's not
situation.
overrated. It's situational.
Let me backtrack a little. You'll have more situations where it's appropriate to throw a jig, a chatterbait, things like than throwing a big bait.
Yeah.
Way more situations.
And I'm not saying that big baits aren't going to get bit. That
I mean,
is
I've
not
caught
what
them.
I'm saying at all.
Are you
I've
gonna
been
go?
in the,
are
I've
you
been
gonna-
in the quarry with you when you've caught 5 pounders. You remember?
Yeah.
I understand they do catch fish.
Yeah.
Is it better to commit to a big swim bait bite on a Thursday nighter when you have 2.5 hours to fish? Fuck
No,
it's not worth doing
absolutely
it.
not. Absolutely
I mean, if
not.
you
I'm
think
not
you can
even
catch-
trying to push that whatsoever.
if you think
Right.
you can get 3 bites,
If you can
But
get
if you're
3
trying to
bites.
compare throwing a swim bait to throwing a drop shot, it's completely two different platforms.
no,
of
I'm
fishing.
not saying that. I'm just saying they're both situational.
A
I'm
jig,
saying
finesse jig, whatever.
I'm saying with most other baits, say we'll limit it to a jig, moving bait, soft plastic, Texas rig, and your big baits. So these 3, you're gonna have. 99% of the situations, one of those 3 baits is going to fit, and the other 1% is this.
It's a way bigger numbers bait. It's a way bigger numbers bait.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Your situations that you run into, these 3 are going to account for 99% of those situations.
9 times
This
out of
accounts for
10,
1.
when you're getting a jig bite, it's going to be.
And you may not,
Yes.
and to be fair, you may not run into that situation at all, because it's that 1%. You may not run into that situation for that big bait at all during that day.
Somebody get this man a drill. Somebody get this man a drill and a drywall screw.
Oh shit!
Oh, that was great.
Can you,
karma.
can you
That's
rewind, can you rewind that? Can you rewind that and replay it?
Dude, that's karma.
Somebody get him a screw before he hurts himself.
That's karma for laughing at what we were just laughing at. That's
You're probably right.
So Tony, do not whatever you
Dude,
do, don't lift the chair up at all.
obviously throwing a swim bait is not the same as throwing a jig or something like that. It's completely.
Well, no, we're not saying it. We're not saying it's the same.
It's
I'm not saying it
situational.
is either. I know it's situational. I'm not saying that a jig is. I'm not saying that throwing a swim bait is better than throwing a jig. Obviously, I know you're going to catch
Ken
more
Berry.
fish and probably bigger fish than that. But big and the same thing is what is going to apply to a jig is going to apply to a swim bait in this way. Bigger fish are lazier fish.
Yes, I 100% agree.
Which is
So
why you throw a jig.
applying. So what I'm saying, where the swim bait and the jigs kind of do come in, is the bigger swim baits lazily moving along, injury profile, big meal, don't have to put out as many calories to go catch it, and the jig sitting right in front of their face, just barely moving.
But at the same time,
You know what's-
It's a lazy bite. It's a
I've-
lazy bite.
I've
a lot
caught
of
6
times.
pounders on top water,
Right.
Yeah,
burning a Sammy across 25 feet of water.
I've also caught them on frogs just sitting there.
Right. So
I
it's
mean,
like,
I've also, I've
like
caught
I
them
said,
on buzz baits. burning buzz baits over
when
the top
they
of
want
their
to
head.
eat, when they want to eat,
When they want to
they're
eat, they're
gonna
going to eat. You
They're
know,
not. They're so.
I think it's more about matching the bait profile than throwing just a big bait.
Yo, oh
We need
my
a 5-minute
God, dude, this
intermission
is
to get
kicking
him.
me out, dude.
Get him a drywall screw or something.
Did the leg come out
The
again?
leg just literally falls
So
out.
the leg on this chair has been broken all night, and now it's just
Do you have a drywall screw and a drill?
There's another chair in the room over
Just
there.
go grab another chair.
Take that chair out.
We're gonna burn it in
So-
the fire pit tonight.
Oh, no, I don't know.
So the next guy sits in.
No, dude, my grandma. It's like an original chair for this house.
I'm glad I didn't sit in that chair tonight.
So, what I'm saying, Chad, is I'm not saying that there's never a situation where
Yeah.
you should throw a big bait. I'm just saying it's way less than the other baits that you could throw.
You are not gonna catch 5 fish throwing a swim bait over a jig. It's not gonna happen.
It depends on where you're at. I don't think you've experienced
I even think
some of
now-
these swim bait lakes
I
that's
even
set up
think
for swim
I
bait.
even think in the swim.
We're
bait
talking about
lakes,
just
so-
here.
I even no.
Oh, you just mean number of
I
bites.
think even a number of bites, even in the swim bait lakes, I think you would still get more on a jig than you would on a swim bait.
No, because of the way you're fishing. All depends on how they set up. When
You
they set
have
up in
to
those clear
understand
lakes,
what
you
they're
know,
doing.
and they're
Maybe
going
boat
offshore.
positioning.
I can 100%
because
promise.
a lot of those.
It depends on
I
what
will
they're
be
doing.
going down there to experience this.
A lot
but
of-
I just
I mean,
feel like I'm thinking about Loch Raven right now.
So
and
think
I
about-
know there's a lot of people that'll go throw a swim bait at Loch Raven, and Buckland will beat them out throwing a jig,
So
He doesn't throw a jig, but I'm not telling you what he throws.
whatever he throws,
He throws a
you know, even on the
minnow.
Yeah.
on those swim bait lakes
something slower.
where those fish are holding, it's not appropriate. It's not even appropriate to throw a jig.
Right.
That I'm going to disagree.
Some of them, depending on
In my eyes, from what I saw,
unless you're dragging a football at.
if I first saw that spot, what would I do? I would flick a jig over there.
I know a
For
lot.
sure.
I've watched. I've
Would
seen a lot
I
of.
would I think of throwing a $400 swim bait where I throw them to catch them? Absolutely not. But let me tell you, they damn near ripped the rod out of my hand.
I've seen a. I know. I mean, I've
by throwing
seen.
that swim bait over there.
I have seen
It is
some
an
video.
invigorating bite.
It is.
I've seen some
trust me,
video, and
I absolutely.
you know, some of the
yeah.
some of the places are 100% like shoreline structure.
Don't
you know,
count
stuff like
it
that.
out around here.
But when
It's
you look at-
here. You got to know when it's here. I've caught so
The
many
window-
good fish on swim baits around.
When
you-
the window here is just narrow. That's
It's
what
very.
I'm
That's
saying.
what. That's all. That's all
That
we're
is the
saying. The
point we're
window.
making.
The window's just very narrow. The situation is a very. It's a very low percentage of the time where that situation arises.
Correct. I'm not saying that they don't.
I've caught fish on big baits down here. It's fun. You like you said. Yeah,
that
it's
one,
fun.
There is
fishing on
nothing
big
that
like
baits.
a
1
swim
to
bait.
2 invigorating bite keeps me coming back. Even if Steve is catching 5 or 6 on a crankbait. Right?
Well, I don't want to
I
hear
was
you
just
saying
like-
that I'm not fishing this week because I'm not catching fish. Then how about that?
I was never
Right.
throwing a swim bait
Right.
at all during any of this.
I just want you to come out and fish and have fun. It's not the
I
same
needed
without
to
you.
take a week off.
Okay.
Oh, no worries.
Everybody needs to take a day off.
Yeah.
So I needed to take a week off. As soon as the Ranger came back, brand new boat, all these payments on a boat, yada yada yada. Listen, never once in my life. What happened to Paul?
What?
He gone.
Am I not on camera?
Oh, I
He
think
died.
we hit the door. Hit it with the door.
Oh,
When I fell out of the chair.
A little farther.
there he
There you
is.
go. Too far.
We got
Now,
double
now
down
Tony's
here.
not on.
The bass and like I was coming out, I was fishing,
Good.
and the new Ranger came back, and I just zero.
You got the new boat curse.
Zero.
It's a thing.
It was like a new boat curse in a way, and you know what's funny? I actually have a video of Steve when we were fishing saying that we had a new boat curse, and then smashing a frog in the same sentence.
Is that the one you almost smash him in the face?
It was
That
the,
was
it was the
hilarious.
same
Take his
day.
head
It was
off.
the
That
same
was-
day.
I swear, when you sent me that video, I heard your rod crack him in the face.
It was close. It was really close.
I mean, I don't know what I heard, but I heard your rod hit something, and it looked like it hit him in the face.
What was I saying though? Oh yeah, after I came out the third time and just zeroed, I was like, I just need to step back for a week,
Reset.
reset, regroup, take my mind off of it a little bit, and return. So I still showed up for the weigh-in. You know, I was there.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's just
New boat curse.
like I
is a
told you
thing.
the other night. You know, it's. You know,
It
just come out.
sucks.
Just come out. Have fun.
Yeah.
Don't worry about. Don't worry about catching. Don't worry about doing what. Just come out and fish and have fun.
I think the
I
thing
didn't,
about
I didn't want to come out and fish based off of the discussion that we had the night before. I just didn't want to do that.
Do what?
Well, we talked about fishing and stuff like that, and it wasn't my plan. You know what I mean? It was like I didn't want to go fish because you told me to go fish somewhere, in a way. So I was kind of like, I need to figure out what I need to do.
That's fine. That's fine. I get that.
I think the biggest thing with a new boat
I mean,
cruise,
you knew where the thing that I was trying to get the thing that I was trying to get across to you was you knew where there were fish.
Yeah.
But because of the tide, you've got to figure out where those fish are moving.
Yeah.
Once you figure out where those fish move and how they move, they're easy to catch.
Once you figure it out, it all clicks.
Right.
Literally, it does. It's to the point where you go out every time and you can get bit.
It's
a click. You just have to understand what the fish are doing because they're always on the move. You have to understand. Oh, this tide. Oh, okay.
The biggest thing, the biggest thing, and this is, I know something that Kevin will agree with, is you cannot determine the baits that you are throwing during the tournament based on how you caught them before.
Yep.
Because the situation may be different.
And again, the situational is where.
So you have to be able to adjust in the situation and realize, oh, I need to throw a spinner bait, or I need to throw a chatterbait, or I need to throw a jig, or I need to throw a crankbait.
The fish setup has been different. What I'm talking about, where you're fishing and where he's fishing, totally different.
Not really.
Not really at all.
It's all about
they're actually some of the same spots.
Yes, they are. The two places that we fished last night are totally different types of fishing. However,
there's no there's no wood where you're fishing.
Correct. Fish movement is the same.
Right.
So it's all about learning fish movement. Mm-hmm. So once you learn fish movement, how they move with the tides, that's when it gets a lot easier. Now, you know the pond way better than I do. So back there, you know where those fish position on the tides, because you fished it enough, and it's all about experience and getting out there, spending time on the water, and learn.
You put enough time in a certain area, you're going to build confidence. You're going to figure it out, and you're going to know what to do on any given tide table. At what position in the tide where they're going to be sitting at.
Just like you guys know, just like you and Steve back in the, if we're back in the pond, whatever the tide is, you know essentially how to fish it. You know the pond way better than I do. I mean, you are way
I don't
better
think
than
I've
I
ever
do.
been to the pond and not seen Chad in there at some point during that time.
I have. You have.
I haven't been back to the pond
At least in the last 2 years.
Well, I'm just making a comparison with an area of the river that you know, like the back of your hand. Like you know that area like the back of your hand. And you know what to do.
I try not to fish there because I want to learn other places,
right,
but I
good.
know that if I go back, I can come back with 3 fish.
And that's not what I'm saying. Like I'm not saying you should go back there. I'm just trying to compare it. Like what you've learned back there.
Putting the time in somewhere else.
Put the time in somewhere else to be able to learn.
Exactly.
Occupied.
Right.
Eventually you're going to.
Somebody just wants to chew.
Once you get it, one day it'll just click, like Kevin said, and you'll be like, oh. That's why they're there.
So I started fishing with Paul on the gunpowder probably 3-4 years ago.
Don't let him chew it.
I'd say probably 3 or 4 years ago.
They're trying to fix the chair.
And I had never fished a gunpowder before at all until I started fishing with Paul. And I learned a lot fishing with Paul. I learned, as what we're just discussing, how fish set up on the tide. I learned from Paul. So, and one day it finally clicked. And I think Paul realized one day it finally clicked with me too. And that's when he's like, yeah, like Yoda to Luke Skywalker. You figured it out, son. Like,
I'm gonna go lay in a bed because I'm tired of hearing your questions.
yeah.
And then I'm gonna.
But like
die.
once it clicks, it's like you can go out there every single time and have a good idea of what was starting point and what they're doing and what you need to throw.
And you can apply that. And once you get into, like, for example, the pond. We discussed that. The pond. You can apply what you know in the pond to the quarry because they're similar.
Right.
Right? Similar things that you do in the pond work in the quarry.
Man, I struggle fishing the quarry though.
But
Quarry can be feast and famine.
the quarry and the pond are not like the canals.
Right.
It's not like the grass. So, but like what I can, you can fish one canal and figure out, oh well, the fish are kind of holding like this, and go to another canal and duplicate that. So once you start fishing the different types of areas.
Great comment. Great comment.
That's coming from quite a stick too.
I can tell you,
I agree with that completely.
Duke. I can tell you that they're that fish in the gunpowder, and I'm not sure what you consider far, but I know that there are fish on the gunpowder that move 400 to 500 yards because of how the tide moves.
And that's just because it's so shallow.
And it's-
they're
sometimes they
backwards.
have no choice but to move.
Yeah.
But they'll go to one area which is farther away versus another area that's closer that has similar water depth. And there's reasons for it, but we're not going to get into that.
Thank
That's another person where, you know,
Duke's awesome. I love Duke.
Duke, he's
Stop
a
it.
stick. I mean, he's
Stop it.
probably
Duke
got
is-
a
yeah,
wealth of
Duke's-
knowledge too.
Duke's a hammer.
Down.
He donates a lot of money to from his Facebook. It seems like he donates a lot of money to the Victor and Logan new boat funds.
What's
Sorry,
his
Duke.
name?
I,
He's still looking for that shopping cart that's out there on the flats full of fish. Just kidding. Totally.
yeah, it's.
Dude, I will. Dude,
I think it's very.
Them boys are hammers out
But
there.
Duke,
though.
to your point, I do agree to you in some situations. In like the area that I was fishing last night, aside from fish, the resident fish in that area will only move 3 or 4 feet.
Yeah.
Or they may move 10 or 15 feet up the bank, or they may move down the bank a little
Attaboy.
bit, maybe 20, 30
Stay
yards.
with it.
Oh, Duke's a hammer. I don't like fishing tournaments against Duke in the fall. that is, he has taken my money quite a few times in the fall.
Speaking of,
But
the
yeah,
fall,
I do agree that in certain situations, it's very situational with how far away how far they move. You know, I've watched them on the Potomac move from the inside grass edge to the outside grass edge, which is 200 yards. Like you went from every fish you caught was up here to every fish you caught was way out here.
Right.
You know, between in 4 hours. So it's all situational with how far they move. Like where Kevin was in the area Kevin was fishing. Those fish don't move far with the tides.
They don't need to.
They move up, they move down. You know, it's just a matter of
They want
where they can position
those
the
fish.
best to eat.
As long as water's moving, those fish are eating.
I honestly I think
The
they'll
ones
eat
that I've been on.
pretty much any time.
I think it's just been a matter of as long as fish are eating.
Right.
Now,
I just think
I
when the
can tell
current-
you,
when that current,
From one side of the patch to the other.
after
Right.
fishing the Chickahominy last week, and as many times as I fished it, that
so
tide
Duke, you
down
mean
there is absolutely nothing like what we have up here. Nothing.
yeah, from one side of a patch to the other. Yeah, exactly. You know, they're not going to move. You know, if they're on the, you know, if they're not going to move, you know,
Let him out.
a mile up a creek and then back out.
Go ahead.
You know, that's just
okay.
they don't move that far. I agree with
He
you.
wasn't having it.
So
Yeah, so I was able to fish at Chickahominy River last weekend, and beautiful river, holds some big fish in it. But I tell you, it sets up completely different of a tidal fishery than it does up here. That
Yeah.
tide rips
Oh.
like you would not believe.
you said as long as the water's moving, I think the fish will eat when the water's not moving, but they don't position themselves. They move around more, so they're harder to catch.
Could be. I can
So
agree
when the
with that.
current, I feel like when the current's moving, they're going to position behind those trees. They're going to position behind those current breaks, and when that in that slack tide, they're just kind of moving around.
Yeah.
You know, they're just kind of roaming around. They're roaming around their structure a little bit. You know, I'm not saying that they're moving off of it. I'm just saying, you know, they're just kind of roaming around.
Yeah.
So it's harder to make a cast to them because current positions the fish.
It depends on the fishery, I think.
Yeah, like I said, the tide here is not it doesn't hold a candle to the tide down there. The tide down there rips. Like I had my trolling motor on spot lock on 8, and I was barely sitting still, barely.
Hey, what's up, Victor?
To be fair, that was a joke.
That was 100% a joke. 100%. Don't take that the wrong
Don't take
way.
that the wrong way.
I'm lost. I don't know what.
Victor's won like every Wednesday
Yeah, he's
nighter
been
for like the
freaking
last
consistent
month
as
and a
hell,
half.
dude. He's been,
Oh, okay.
I mean, hats off to him. I mean, he's smashing
Yeah.
this. It was totally a joke. Don't
He has
don't take
been
that the wrong way.
absolutely smashing them out there. Yeah, Duke. I think that
I don't think they move very much at all.
I think that it's situational. I think some fish will move very far and some fish won't. You know, I know. So personal experience on the shore, there are places that I can only fish on high tide because there's no water there. On high tide, there will be fish there. On low tide, it's mud, and you're talking, you know, a half a mile back into the nothing.
So two things.
You can go back
two
there on
comments.
high tide and catch fish.
That's a funny. So three things. One, that's a funny comment. Two, your example earlier about you catch them at the inside grass of a tide, and then you catch them on the outside grass.
That's natural, right?
Sure, I agree with you because I've experienced that myself. Do you think that the fish moved, or do you think that bite window on the inside of the grass was right with the water level, and now an hour later, the bite window with the outside of the grass is better because that water level hit that peak?
No, they're moving.
Point.
It's the depth. You know, they're not going to go. They're only going to go into a certain depth.
What's your opinion?
Yeah,
I don't think they move. I think that
When you're talking, so when I'm talking like an inside grass edge, I'm talking like in between the grass and the bank. And when the tide sucks out, there's almost no water in there.
okay. That I understand, but I'm talking about like on the back channel, right?
So, dude, I really want to talk about this, dude. Depth will force them to move for sure. But why do these fish move so? And they'll do it every tide. I have one place where you can go every tide, and you know it's down one of the short rivers. It is bone dry on low tide. When the tide comes up, you can go a half a mile back into the woods and catch fish. There's no water there on low tide.
Are you
It
talking
is
about on the
completely
shore?
dry.
That's how some of those shore rivers set up, and that's how a lot of the way the
So
economy sets up.
I'm just thinking of talking about how far those fish move.
All love, Vic. All love.
Yeah, Victor, that was 100% a joke, man.
My third
No.
thing. Do you have?
no-
there
no
it is.
harm
I need
intended.
a dip, if you don't mind.
You need a what? Nothing.
A dip.
No. Nope.
You need to
I don't-
dip,
I don't
or you
do
need
that.
a
Oh,
dip?
my
Oh, that's right. I forgot you quit. I'm sorry. Thank you. Paul quit dipping. What a good guy.
Shut up, Tony.
I can't do that.
Stop talking.
Whoa, someone struck a nerve.
Beer.
We have quite the beer tower going on.
I actually have to go.
Quite the skill.
What?
Go what? Go pee-pee?
Well, now I actually have to go to my sister's fiance's grad party up at my parents' house tonight.
It's at 10
Well, it is-
o'clock?
I mean, it is 10 o'clock.
It actually
mean-
started at 7.
Well, they're
But it'll
young
go
people.
That
on
means,
until
that means they're drunk and ready to party.
Hello.
yeah, it'll
the
go
young
until like
people.
11.
If it's a
or 12.
graduation party, that means they're young and they don't start partying until like 11 anyway.
Yeah, I mean everything.
Like we
no,
go to bed at 11 now. You know they start.
We're
that's when they-
within-
That's
we're
when they go to
within
the bar.
range. We're within range. Just yeah. Wow. That's
Yeah, that's why. I know that's why they're back. They're back there chasing bait, but it's funny that they'll move that far back in there
That one's still got something
to
in it.
eat when obviously there's bait
Got
out
some
there.
stymie queens over here. Uh-oh.
There's no way we can do another one.
It's definitely interesting.
Try me.
Fish movement really interests me, and just personal experiences that I've had with fish movement on tidal water.
Oh,
Yeah.
Mama,
I gotta
was
go.
waiting for him.
You just got dimed out.
I gotta go. Obviously, you guys are more than welcome.
Shall we
We
shift?
won't burn the house
Oh
down.
crap! If I take that phone with me, though, it's gonna cut the thing out because the other
Oh,
phone's not.
All right,
Well,
10
then I guess
minutes? Did we get 10 minutes?
Then I guess we're
Give
done.
us 10 minutes to wrap it up.
All right.
Alright. So we're gonna wrap it up. Duke. I would like to continue this conversation sometime
Yeah,
when we see each other.
absolutely.
Now that Paul's completely out of the frame.
Yeah,
All right, fixed it.
Duke's
Nope.
brought up a lot of good points in
That-
his
Duke's
topic.
I like Duke a lot. Duke's a very very good fisherman, and we've had some really good conversations about stuff in the past. And this is just something that I would like to converse with him with.
Yeah,
I don't know,
absolutely.
dude. I really try to ignore the tide a lot. Now, I pay attention to water level. I don't pay attention to tide. And that's served me decently well
So
on the gunpowder this year.
the only thing
Duke's got a pretty good point. Chasing crawls, pushing back up in those areas with water coming out.
the
Hence connection.
tides.
Yeah,
so you're-
I have to agree with you on that.
If you pay attention to your tides, you can predict what the water level will be at
Right.
certain spots at certain times.
That I agree with 100%. because I do that.
And knowing that certain spots may be better on an outgoing or an incoming tide is important.
Yes.
Because that does happen. So it's very
Right.
important. It is very important to pay attention to tides.
So I agree. I agree with 90% of what you're saying, but for me, being a mouth breather, I dumb it down to
you
is
just
the
go out
water
there and
high
fish.
or is it low? Right? Like, is it in between? If it's hot, like one of the spots that me and Buck did really well on this year, water had to be high. Didn't matter if the tide was going. This was the cool part. Didn't matter if it was going in or out. If
Just
the
had to
water,
have water
if the
on it.
water was up, we were catching them, and we were catching them good. Like we 2 third places in a row, which isn't the best thing in the world, whatever. But it was.
The river's fished a
We
little
didn't
bit
have
different
shit
this year.
before
it's definitely
that.
fished different this year.
Yeah. So, there was that. But again, hey, he's back. Be careful. Oh, that's a different chair. I switched it out.
I am not scared.
Man, I found this can of Stoker's on the ground.
All right. It is all over your hood.
Good. Builds character.
Better hope
Anyway.
Candace isn't watching.
But like I was
Some
saying
factor.
is I think simplifying it into the water is up or the water is low. It can just make it a little bit easier. I've had some of the best days I've ever had have been incoming. Some of the best days have been outgoing
I'll say that
on the same bait in the same spot. Like
I try to
I
keep
will-
it simple and just say water's moving. I don't try and overcomplicate stuff. I try and keep things very simple with how I
I think
fish.
it's a good. I think keeping it simple like that is a very good starting point. Like when you're learning tidal water.
right. But see, I've been fishing it now. I'm not the expert, but I've been fishing this for 5-6 years.
Let me take that back. When you're learning a specific body of tidal water.
Agreed. Yes, that I 100% agree on.
Once I fish the gunpowder four times a week.
Right.
I'm out there, 3 nights a week, and usually one day on the weekends. But I want to read that block of text, but
Yeah, I'm
so
really interested in.
once
the-
you
where's the
spend
mouse?
once you spend that much time on that body of tidal water, then you have to start paying more attention to, okay, what's the tide doing at this point? Why am I catching them here? But if I was going to the Chickahominy,
I want Duke
I'm
on
gonna-
the show.
I'm gonna keep it.
Yeah, that'd be.
It's a
awesome.
long drive for him. He
That's
lives
a-
up in Pennsylvania.
Say it's a
Send
solid
it.
hike for him.
Pay for his gas.
We could do
So-
a thing where he calls in though.
We could,
If you'd be
yeah, we
interested.
could, we could do that.
Duke,
So-
if you'd be interested in that, Duke, we'd love to have you call
So-
on the show and do
Yeah,
it.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
So if I was going to the Chickahominy, where Kevin was just at, and having never been there before, I would simplify it, like you said.
High
okay,
water, low water.
high water, low. That's where we're going to start. Outgoing tide. It's an outgoing tide or an incoming tide. That's all I'm looking at.
So Duke's comment says, talking about waypoint management, right? Basically marks the spots with 3-pound catches. I do the same thing sometimes. And what I mean by that is if I'm fishing a grass bed and the grass bed I'm catching a lot of little fish on, whatever.
I 100% agree with that.
Now, if I go to a small spot, like one of the spots I fished in the Thursday Nighters earlier in the year was no bigger than this table. You'd catch a 12-incher, then you catch a 4-pounder. I think if the spot is very small, then you don't categorize it the same way. If you have a larger spot and smaller fish tend to be there, then absolutely. But for me, it's about the spot size. If it's a smaller spot size, you can have anything there. But if it's a bigger spot, like all the fish on if it's a spot big enough for fish to school in, I think that his point's valid no matter what. But I think that's a better example of that. But that's just my opinion. It seems like smaller spots I can catch a variety size of fish versus a bigger spot I catch a lot of fish in the same class.
If you look at, and I think Duke would probably agree with this, is if you like Duke's marking 3+ pound fish on those different tides, and you look at where you catch 3+ pound fish, they're there for a specific reason.
Oh, agree, 100%.
So those bigger fish are going to be there for a specific reason.
Sure.
Where your 12-inch fish, they might be out in the middle of the grass bed doing whatever in this much water. But those bigger fish are going to be some.
Okay, that throws a wrench to it. I still think my opinion doesn't change. So he said that the comment was regarding fish movement versus fish size.
Oh yeah, 100%. But that just took me down another rabbit hole.
I can tell you the spot that I'm referring to that I won't tell anyone about, gun to my head, and we have a lot of guns in Chad's house, is that I fished it 4 times in a row when it was good, and I caught a 4-pounder on it every time, and I also caught 12 inches on it every time. But Chad needs to go. So final thoughts for tonight.
We will continue this conversation.
We will.
We
This
will
is a good
continue
conversation.
this, and we would love to have Duke have more input on it. Also,
I would like Duke if you're willing to
you're
call
willing, of
in
course.
sometime,
Or come, or just visit us, man. We'll make it.
It's a long drive for Duke.
Oh, well, yeah. Sure.
We'll send you a link. All you gotta
we
do
can
is
send you a
click
link
on
and
the
have you
link,
call in.
and you can just call in.
Right.
But, if,
We would love to- we would
if
love
you're
to
willing
talk about this
We would
with you.
love
Yeah.
to talk to you about this. We will continue this in the next future episode. This is fantastic conversation. This is what we strive to the conversations to get into. But tonight I have to go handle some family stuff. I'm really pumped for my sister's fiance is graduating. He's going to be like a pharmacist or something.
Oh, nice.
Pharmacist
I
tech,
got a
something,
question
you know.
for you before you leave
Really,
off the
really
air.
pumped for him. So.
Awesome. Well,
And then
glad I can make my every 2-month appearance.
Yep. We got to make that a little bit more often if possible.
I'm trying. You know, it's quite a drive for me too.
I know.
45 minutes.
All right.
I know. But you make it to the Thursday nighters.
You know, it cost me a lot of money to get here. I got to pay tolls.
Well, you better
You gotta pay for
start
beer?
winning the Thursday nighters to pay for
It's
the
been a while
Bass
since
Dude, I
I
need to
won
win
one.
I mean, I feel like
I'm
he's
due.
I feel like he's cashed enough checks to pay for this year to pay for his gas.
Dude, I need to win one.
I need to cash one.
Bad way.
Rob and I got second a couple weeks ago. That was first taste of money I've had all year.
Was it the first one? I thought
Yeah,
you got. I
it's
thought
been a
you-
while since I've been in the money.
We've got 4
Love
checks
to
this
have
year,
you,
and it ain't
dude.
enough.
I mean, this week was the first time I've been in the money. This
I hate
year.
to break it to you, but the money we made, the money that even if I was to win, it still really wouldn't cover expenses.
Oh hell no! It's not about the money. It's just
I just come to hang out with my boys. That's what it
I
comes down to.
mean, I won $250 last night.
All right. Well, Chad's got to roll, so I think we're gonna cut it. We appreciate y'all. Please like and share. Look out for the giveaway post that's coming soon. We hope you all have a great weekend. Catch some fish, send us some pictures, and have a great weekend.
Peace.
All right, guys, catch
See
them
you
up.
guys.
Hit that end button there.
This one or end live video or stop streaming first?
Nope, the end button that you were on first.
That one.
Nope, the red. Well, that one, the red one. Perfect.
They're both red.
I'm colorblind. God damn it! All right.
The red button. They're both red.
My shirt's
Cut
red.
the
I'm
blue wire.
got confused and fucked your dad.
Damn, Victor didn't waste no time to fucking chime in on that.
Oh, somebody was watching that and was like,
I guarantee you, 'cause
Somebody
you know
was
he's not watching
and
it.
texted him. Somebody was watching and texted
I don't
him
care.
and you said that.
I did talk
It was
a
a
lot of
total
shit.
joke
I'm
anyways.
saying.
Oh, I mean, it was.
He's never said a comment on this entire show before.
Yeah, yes.
Maybe once or twice,
Yeah,
maybe.
once or twice.
Both them guys talk a lot of shit.
Him and Logan.
But it was when somebody brought
know
up
what?
him and
I
Logan.
didn't tell you that. They were shit talking at a Wednesday night or chat was fishing with Nate Brown, and they were talking shit, and Pat and Buckland goes, you say that, you say either one of you say shit to Schultz's face, I'll give you $100.
What did they say?
Just, we were earlier in the show, we were talking about the pond. I was like, yeah, they're blowing up that spot.
Blowing up what spot?
The pond? Fucking old news, dude.
Dude, the
The pond is freaking old news, bro.
Right.
pond's been old news
Buckland
since.
said, either one of you say to Schultz's face, I'll give you $100. That was a year and a half ago. I did this shit.
Trying to clean up on this. I'm gonna leave that 6-pack here.
Stop leaving my nasty lines in here.
Should leave one here though. Next week.
I don't personally have any problems with them, but